Magandang umaga po. This hearing of your Senate Committee on Public Services is now called to order. Ngayong araw, itutuloy natin ang pagdinig ukol sa insidente ng Xiamen Airlines na nagdulot ng 36 na oras na pagsasara sa runway 624 sa Ninoy Aquino International Airport. Noong nakaraang Agosto 29, napakinggan natin ang chronology o timeline of events mula ng makontak ng air traffic control natin, ang eroplano ng Xiamen, hanggang sa pagsadsad nito. Kasama ang mga aksyon na ginawa ng mga otoridad hanggang sa muling pagbubukas ng runway 624. We heard a lot of narrations, explanations, justifications, and similar concerns. This early, I would like to emphasize and announce that today's hearing, unless a significant and valid supervening event occurred, is a concluding hearing to pave way for the preparation of the full committee report on the matter. Ang report ng committee ay dapat maging simula ng pagbabago at reforma sa airport management, aviation, at ang pag-update sa mga batas tungkol sa aeronautics, non-aeronautics at iba pang sektor. We will draw conclusions based on the events, actions, narrations, and documents submitted and presented to the committee. Pero ngayong araw, bilang validation, ito ang mga bagay-bagay na nais nating alamin. First, nasaan ang report patungkol sa cockpit voice recorder at flight data recorder na ipinadala sa Singapore? Second, sa pagkakaalala ko, may Parallel Flight Safety Investigation ang CAAP na siyang nag-iimbestiga sa kung mayroong pagkukulang o kasalanan o liability ang piloto ng eroplano. 33 milyong piso pa rin ba ang penalty sa Xiamen o madadagdagan na ngayon sa inyong pag-iimbestiga? At papaano ninyo naisip ang mga multa na yan? Pang-apat, nais nating makita ang accounting ng unrefunded terminal fees na sabi ng MIA ay nagkakahalaga ng 270 milyong piso. Ito ba ay na-identify na ninyo kung sino dapat kumuha nito? Ano na nangyari sa escrow para dito? Dahil maaari sanang maibalik ito sa ating mga pasahero. Finally, would like to hear from the academe and also the experts as to their insights and comments as to what should have been done that day and moving forward. We all know that the Xiamen incident is a first in recent memory of Philippine aviation. We ought to move forward from this by learning every bit of detail from the incident. The Philippine Senate, our committee, by virtue of its legislative and oversight functions, would like to impart to the responsible and accountable officials in the executive and the rest of the bureaucracy to treat the Xiamen incident more seriously with a mindset that the said incident will be the first and hopefully the only one in Philippine history. May our responsible and accountable officials make sure that its policies and protocols never ever neglect the most important aspect of aviation. Ang tinutukoy po natin dito ay ating mga pasahero. Yan naman po talaga ang punot dulo nito, ang serbisyo na dapat ibigay natin sa ating mga kababayan at para wag naman sila maperwisyo muli. With that, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of our resource speakers today. Let me first acknowledge the presence of Secretary Arthur Tugade of the Department of Transportation, Secretary Carlos Dominguez, the Department of Finance, and then may I ask the rest to please introduce yourselves, beginning with Mr. Monreal.
Good morning, Madam Chairman. Yeah, Ed Monreal from MIA po.
Ruben Reynoso Jr., Undersecretary for Planning of the Department of Transportation.
Good morning, Madam Chair. I am Carmelo Orsilia. I'm the Executive Director of the Civil Aeronautics Board.
Good morning, I'm Lian from Xiamen Air.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mr. Lin Hoa Kun from Xiamen Air.
Good morning, Madam Chair. I'm Manolito Manalo from Ocampo Manalo Law Firm, local legal representative of Xiamen Airlines.
Good morning, Madam Chair. I'm Jose Manuel Reverente from Aboitiz Infracapital, spokesperson of the NAIA Consortium.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Paterno Mantaring Jr. from Cebu Pacific and SEBGO.
Morning, Madam Chair. Francisco Enente here, representing Sky Logistics.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Bobby Umayam from Macro Asia Catering Services.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Nilmar Ventanilla from Macro Asia.
Good morning, Madam Chair. My name is Michelle Pacheco from Macro Asia Airport Services.
Good morning, Madam Chair. My name is Clara De Castro from Philippine Airlines.
Madam Chair, good morning. I'm Josen Perez de Tagle from Philippine Airlines.
Good morning, Madam Chair. I'm Alshina Del Rosario. I'm one of the passengers who were affected by Xiamen Airlines.
Good morning, Madam Chair. I'm Mary Edsel Casugat, one of the passengers affected also by this mishap. Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm from SIAC, President of the Samahan ng Manggagawa ng Damiya.
Good morning, Madam Chair. I'm Eduardo Yap of the Management Association.
Good morning, Madam Chair. I'm Genaro Velasquez, representing the Board of Airline Representatives.
Morning, Chairman. I'm Samuel David with the International Air Transport Association, or IATA.
Morning, Madam Chair. Darwin Cunanan from Clark International Airport Corporation.
Morning, Mr. Jaime Melo po from Clark also, Operations.
Madam Chair, magandang umaga po. Ako po si Administrator Bernard Ulalia ng POEA.
Good morning, Madam Chair. I'm Hazel Iris Palyatan. I am the Director of the Public Investment Staff of NEDA, as well as the Head of the Investment Coordination Committee, ICC Core Secretariat.
Good morning, Madam Chair. I'm Art Moncato, Undersecretary at the Department of Tourism.
Good morning, Madam Chair. My name is Jim Sijonko of the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines.
Good morning, Madam Chair. I'm Manuel Antonio Tamayo, Undersecretary for Aviation and Airports, Department of Transportation.
Good morning, Madam Chair. I'm Grace Karen Singson, Undersecretary for the Department of Finance, Privatization Special Concerns.
Well, maraming salamat sa inyong pagdalo ngayong araw. Thank you for attending today's hearing. Before we begin with our questions, or if there are any presentations, I would like to ask our new guests to please stand up so that we can administer your oath. Those who haven't had their oath yet from the last hearing.
Please raise your
But
right
if you want to
hand.
join again, please, by all means, do so.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding? For the record, Madam Chair, those who took their oath answered in the affirmative. Thank you.
I find this hearing now very promising. First, we have, for the first time, I think, in the Committee on Public Services, we have the Secretary of Finance present today. And I think the key of a lot of the possible solutions to what we are confronted now with the problems rests upon the decision of the Department of Finance and NEDA. Kasi marami tayong mga iniisip na mga solusyon, pero band-aid solution lang to kung walang expansion. At marami dyan ay kung mabibigyan ng permiso ng Department of Finance ang iba't ibang mga proyekto na maaring tumulong dito sa problema natin ngayon para maibsan ang problema ngayon. But before we begin with the modernization and expansion of our air services, I would like to begin with a very basic question. Do we have already a result from the investigation that was the black box that was submitted to Singapore for investigation and review?
Madam Chair, For Civil Aviation Authority, may I give an update?
Please do, yes. Go ahead.
The Civil Aviation Authority is currently conducting parallel investigations through the Aircraft Accident Investigation and Inquiry Board and the Flight Safety Investigation Committee with respect to the Xiamen Airlines runway excursion last August 16, 2018. The purpose of the AIB investigation is to determine the facts, conditions, circumstances relating to the occurrence and identifying the probable cause of the event, which is aimed towards the prevention of accidents and incidents and not to apportion blame or liability. This aircraft accident investigation is an internationally regulated protocol by the International Civil Aviation Organization and the aviation industry. The purpose of this investigation is to promote safety and prevention of similar accidents. The AIB activity is in compliance of the Philippines to the international obligations and treaties. On the other hand, the Flight Safety Investigation Committee investigation will look into the possible violations of Philippine civil aviation regulations and the corresponding penalties that may be imposed for such violations. This committee is tasked to implement our local laws on civil aviation. Aviation safety is of the utmost priority, and the Philippines is duty-bound under our international obligations to ICAO not to disclose safety information that may likely prejudice the exercise of the AIB of its duty to establish the cause of accidents. At present, both investigations are underway to determine what caused the accident. Both committees are at work continuing and gathering of information through interviews with eyewitnesses, examination of records, validation of data from all available sources to arrive at the truth on the accident involving the Xiamen Airlines aircraft. CAAP will publish the final report of the AIB and EPSEC upon the conclusion of the investigations in the interest of transparency and compliance to international law. And to the question, Madam Chair, where the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder are, they are with the custody of the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines. And we are now comparing the cockpit voice recorder with the flight data. And we are also in touch. We need to have a meeting with the representatives from the state of registry of the aircraft, the state of operator, and our counterpart, the Civil Aviation Authority of China. Thus far, Madam Chair.
So you're saying, sir, that the investigation's not done yet? You don't have any conclusions yet or any findings?
That is correct, ma'am.
Now, the flight data recorder is with you. It wasn't sent to Singapore. I thought that was my understanding initially.
And that was sent to Singapore, ma'am, a week after the accident, and then it came back to us a week after from the day it was sent.
So meaning, they're already done listening to getting the information that they need. Have they come up with a conclusion as to what caused the incident?
Right now, ma'am, we need to validate and verify. We know what happened, where, what time, but how and exactly why, we have to piece them together.
What do you mean you have to piece them together? There are no conclusions based on the findings in Singapore? Or you would like to exercise prudence and compare it to your own investigation findings?
That is correct, ma'am.
So they do have a conclusion?
The findings are primarily printouts and readouts. We need to analyze and compare this chronologically, compare what the aircraft was doing at the same time what the crew was talking about.
So, ang sinasabi po ninyo, tatagalugin ko para mas maintindihan ng ating mga kababayan at nating lahat. Yung pinadala ninyong flight recorder sa Singapore, ito po ay naanalisa na nila. At sila po ay nagbigay na ng impormasyon base dito sa pinadala ninyo. Pero wala pang konklusyon o meron na pero hindi pa ninyo ito tinatanggap. Yun ang tanong ko. Meron na ba silang conclusion kung ito ay aksidente na dahil sa bagyo o dahil sa ulan at hindi dahil sa kasalanan ng piloto?
Tungkol ho dyan, ma'am, yan ay kailangan pagtugma-tugmain namin. Wala hong read-out lang ho siya, wala pa siyang konklusyon. At pagkatapos ng konklusyon, lalabas pa kami ng rekomendasyon. Ma'am.
So, ang nagbibigay ng konklusyon dito sa atin, hindi sa Singapore. Tama ba yon? Pero kahit papano, di ba, meron silang printout. So, masasabi ninyo doon kung meron ng pagkakamali kung sino man.
Ito ho yung, ma'am, ang pinoprotektahan natin kasi ayaw ho natin mag-break ng protocols internationally. Kasi ang international practice ho, ma'am, is kailangan ito, hindi mo pwedeng ilabas hanggat hindi ka sigurado na yan na ang konklusyon. So, kailangan mangonsulta kami sa mga gumawa ng airplano, mangonsulta kami sa airline na nagpapatakbo nito, sa training ng mga piloto at sa piloto mismo. Doon lang namin na masasabi, ma'am, na ito talaga ang nangyari.
O sige. So hindi ko kayo pipilitin dyan. Hindi ko masyado maintindihan itong airline protocol, but I'd like to give you the benefit of the doubt. Perhaps at some point pwede tayong mag-usap on an executive session para ma-discuss natin ito ng mas maayos. Pero ito na lang, yes or no na lang po ang sagot. Meron din partial findings ang Singapore.
Partial finding in a sense, ma'am, kung ano ang na-read out.
Para,
kung ano ang...
so merong readout na magsasabi kung sino ang may sala dito. Hindi ko sinasabing tatanggapin natin ito kaagad, no? Kasi marami pa. Pero merong mga nakita siguro mga maaring hindi dapat nangyari.
Na I most welcome an executive briefing, ma'am, kasi pag naglabas ako ng opinion ngayon, kasama ho siya sa protocol na hindi dapat isinishare publicly.
So, meron siguro. Okay. So, ganito na lang po. Matanong ko kayo, no? Kasi, ang kaap, basically sa kaap kayo, hindi ba?
That is...
Kayo ang merong prerogatiba kung gaano kalaking penalties ang ibibigay ninyo. Di ba? Kayo, nasa discretion mo yon, correct?
Nasa discretion ho ng CAAP, depende sa nakasulat sa regulasyon at ano ang kaakibat na violation, ma'am, at
Okay.
saka penalty.
Pakisabi po sa akin kung sino mga miyembro ninyo na ngayon ay mag-iimbestiga dito at magtutugma ng mga data at findings dito. Itong tinatawag natin na Aircraft Accident Investigation and Inquiry Board. Meron ba?
Meron ho, ma'am, ang Director General who base sa Republic Act 9497 as the chairman.
So kayo po yung chair?
Yes.
O sino po yung mga miyembro ninyo?
Yung members ho niya ay dalawa, yung taga mismo organic ng Aircraft Accident Investigation Board na empleyado din ho ng CAAP.
Pwede ba malaman ang pangalan niya?
Ay, hindi ko eksakto. Ang unang member ay si Ronda. Ang isa ay si Baculinaw.
Ano no? Ronda? Yan ang apelido?
Yes, ma'am.
Tapos ang isa?
Si Rainier Baculinaw.
Ano pong kanilang kwalifikasyon?
Trained ho sila sa Civil Aviation Authority as Aircraft Accident Investigation Board.
Sino pa po ang mga miyembro ninyo?
Ang ibang magiging member ho nito sa human factors ay yung flight surgeon namin, si Dr. Bayaban. And then, ang ibang members ho nito will be a representative from the aircraft operator and as observers. aircraft state of registry as a representative, at saka aircraft of state of manufacture. In other words, yung Boeing ho.
Boeing?
Yung Boeing, kasi itong
Yung
aeroplano
nag-manufacture
ay
ng
Boeing
aeroplano.
737. Sila ho ang may expertise. Lalo na ho dito sa Pilipinas, wala ho itong modelo na ito dito sa atin. So, there will be a point in time where we have to refer this to Boeing and compare and simulate the flight, how it was conducted.
So, matanong ko rin kayo, no? Dahil sinasabi ninyo na ito yung mga miyembro. Nagkita-kita na ba kayo? Hindi pa?
Yung members ho na foreign-based, hindi pa ho, ma'am. We are trying to find time to do it sometime next week ho. Base ho sa availability na at sa resources. Pero yung local ho, both Aircraft Accident Investigation Board members at saka yung Flight Safety Investigation Committee ay nag-convene na ho.
Okay. Pag dumating na yung mga foreign members o counterparts ninyo, mga gaano katagal bago ninyo matapos to? Kasi nandiyan na yung data sa inyo galing Singapore. Tapos I'm sure yung air traffic control nag-submit na rin sa inyo ng kanilang datos.
Asa ngayon ho, ma'am, mahirap i-commit kung kailan matatapos, lalo na ho yung sa aircraft accident investigation. Kasi mayroon ho protocol doon na kailangan mo bigyan ng operator ng 60 days. Ay, yung 60 days na ho yun, ma'am, usually, in my experience, trina-translate ho yun sa national language nila bago nila i-accept na or tatanggapin nila na ito ang report final at they are in agreement.
So mahaba pa ito. Ngayon, meron kasing initial penalty, di ba? Nasa 36 million ba? Or 33 million? Magkano yung initial estimate of penalties?
Yung ma'am, initial amount na sinasabi, I think is
33 million.
galing ho yun sa Manila International Airport Authority as a cost recovery of the expenses incurred during the recovery of the aircraft.
So iba pa yon.
Iba pa ho
Iba
yun
pa
sa
po yan.
Civil Aviation Authority, which is naman against the operator and against the pilots.
Okay. Siguro magdako naman tayo sa... Maraming salamat po. Mamaya babalikan ko po kayo. Mr. Monreal, doon po, Gia Monreal, yung una ninyong cost estimate is about 33 million. Sa ngayon po, mga magkano na?
Umaabot na po sa almost 72 million. Meron na kang pinag-uusapan na karagdagang 42 million plus. Yan pa yung pinag-uusapan pa namin. Pero nagbigay na ho sila ng indikasyon. I think they're coming on September 12 na September 12 and to 14, pupunta po sila rito. At mayroon na pong assurance na magbabayad po sila doon sa unang pinigay naming bill.
Pupunta ang Xiamen para
Doon dito.
magbayad.
Actually po, nagpunta na po yung finance officer nila nung Friday at nagkaroon na ho kami ng pagpapalit ng mga informasyon. At ang huli kong pagkakalam po, next week, this week po, September 12 to 14, yung chairman mismo po pupunta huli rito.
Ang Xiamen ba ay lumilipad pa patungo rito ngayon?
Opo.
So yung operation sila patuloy pa rin?
Opo.
Matanong ko kayo, medyo technical ito, para lamang mas maintindihan natin. Kasi meron po akong kopya nitong tinatawag natin na Disabled Aircraft Removal Plan.
Opo.
Kung saan po kayo ay pumirma noong 2017, September 2017.
Opo.
So in short, these protocols were in place.
Opo.
Okay. Ang mga salient points po dito nakalagay. The recovery plan is the sole responsibility of aircraft owners.
Opo.
Ngayon, in the event that they don't have the capability, obviously because they're not based here in the Philippines, that the airport authorities will step in. But you should have who is your designated aircraft recovery official Di ba meron kayo dapat na ganon sa airport natin at sila rin meron. So sino yung counterpart nila at kayo naman dito sa airport natin, sino?
Tungkol ho dito sa Xiamen, wala ho silang counterpart na in charge for recovery. Ang kausap po namin dyan, nung nangyari po yung pagsadsad ng aeroplano, ay yung tauhan po nila, yung local staff nila, at nandun po yung, I suppose he was, or he is the flight ground engineer. After a couple of hours, nandito ho naman po yung chairman nila, dumating po sa at doon mismo sa site at nagbigay ho siya ng nag-uusap po kami at sabi niya they required all the help from MIA. Ang amin naman po, base ho sa aming protocol ng ating emergency airport emergency plan, ay nandun po nakalagay as mentioned by you ma'am that pag hindi po kaya ng pag-aari o may-ari ng eroplano, ang airport authorities po ay papasok at tutulong.
So, kaya nga, so pumasok kayo tutulong, pero di ba dapat meron, nakalagay po dito, dapat may kasunduan kayo sa iba't ibang contractor na pwedeng mag-provide ng service na yon. Kayo po ba ay meron kasunduan sa isang lokal na kumpanya para sa mga insidenteng ganito? Dahil yung heavy equipment na yan, magkano nga po yun, dapat available kagad pero inabot po kayo ng matagal bago kayo nakapagtawag ng may pupunta doon. So meron ba kayong kasunduan sa mga contractors?
Opo. Aside from the MOA that we have signed po sa MMDA, sa DPWH, sa Redicon, meron ho kaming sariling equipments. Unfortunately, wala lang ho kaming crane which is being subcontracted or having a MOA with this outfit that I just mentioned.
Pero alam niyo sir, di ba yung sa huling hearing natin,
Opo.
nasabi natin na baka hindi na naman kayanin ng DPWH or MMDA dahil yung mga proyekto nila nasa iba't ibang parte ng na malayo sa airport. Ngayon, pwede naman siguro isang pribadong kumpanya na on standby. Kayo ba may napili ng ganon?
Doon hong pangyayaring yon, yun nga, yung Royal Cargo.
Wala pa.
Prospectively ho, nag-usap na ho kami ng Royal Cargo. Yung presidente lang ho ng kumpanya ay umalis ho, nagpunta ho ng abroad. Pagbalik ho, meron ho kaming, apart from the current that we have, yung MMDA, Redicon, sila ho, kasama na ho, karagdagan naming...
Bakit Royal Cargo? Sila ba may equipment na gano'n?
At that point in time, yung location po nila, they have a yard of sophisticated equipments and napakalapit po sa ating paliparan.
Kaya
po yung una na pag-isipan po namin.
Siguro dapat ay meron kayong protocol nga na on-call sila, di ba?
Apo.
Palagi.
Tama.
Okay. Ngayon, siguro matanong natin, no, yung air traffic control representative, meron ba dito? Ma'am, kayo po yung... Sir, dito kayo. Mr. Monreal, huwag kayong aalis dyan. Baka merong magbibigay ng upuan. Ma'am, kayo yung nanumpa nung huli, no? Kayo yun, di ba? Please identify yourself again for the record, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm Marlene Singson from Air Traffic Service.
Sige, Miss Marlene. Di ba nung huli tayo nag-usap, may lumabas sa social media, di umano, na hindi ninyo sinasabi na yan talaga ay official recording nung pag-uusap ng air traffic control at ng piloto, tama? So ngayon, sabi nyo ay ibe-verify pa ninyo. Nagawa na ba ninyo yon?
Through the chair. Actually, ma'am, nun po tayong nag-hearing, meron na po talagang transcription, yung voice recording, at yung voice logging system namin ay naisubmit na po sa AAIIB. Until now, nasa kanila po yung recording ng voice ng Manila Tower at ng mga traffic at the time na nangyari
So,
po ang
andito
incident.
ba yung ito yung yung AAIB, sa inyo din po yun, ano?
Yes po.
Ngayon, Di ba nawala ng contact yung piloto at saka yung air traffic control for a period of time? Am I correct?
Ang mga 1 minuto lang po, ma'am. Kasi po nakatawag naman po yung Xiamen sa Manila approach. Yung pong susunod na bahagi na ang air traffic service.
So sinasabi nyo nung last hearing natin na normal yon, di ba? Na mawawala, dun sila sa approach. Magko-contact. Tama ba yon? Bale, 2?
Actually, ma'am, may 3 kaming facilities ng air traffic control. Yung en route, which is Manila ACC, Area Control Center. We have Manila Approach and Manila Tower. May kanya-kanya po kaming jurisdiction. Depende po at naka-define po ang boundaries namin based on yung vertical and horizontal.
But in the particular recording that we witnessed, we heard, there was a portion there where there was no contact with an air traffic control, but you're saying that they were able to contact another air traffic control tower. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying, ma'am, is nandun po siya sa approach control frequency. Bawat pong level ng air traffic control facilities, yung nga po, yung Manila Approach, Manila ACC at Manila Tower, may kanya-kanya po siyang ginagamit na radio frequency. So kung ang isang eroplano po ay nakatune doon sa susunod na frequency, ang frequency po ng Manila Tower is 118.1. Ang frequency po ng Manila Approach ay iba rin. Depende po kung nasaan silang sector.
Okay, so napaka-technical, ano? Pero I'm sure, this is something that we need to learn. My concern is, so if they were contacting using another frequency, as an ordinary citizen, my question is this still safe? That the 3 aren't really, would each of them have any idea if, let's say, a pilot contacts one particular frequency over another? Magkakaintindihan pa ba? Coordinated pa ba yan?
Through the share, yes po. Kasi po, bawat facility, ma'am, meron po kaming coordinator. Maliban sa alpha controller na mismong nagko-control ng mga flights, meron po kaming coordinator na controllers din po. Meron po kasi kaming tinatawag na hotline sa bawat facility wherein yung bawat facility na yon ay nakakapag-usap. Isang angat lang po nung hotline na yon, naka-open na po ang linya sa approach. So nung hindi na po siya sumagot sa tower, nag-verify po sa approach at sinabi ng approach nasa kanila na. Kasi po at a certain level, kailangan mapunta na siya sa susunod na facility wherein yun ang may jurisdiction over that area.
So you're saying, dun sa naging procedure na ginawa ng piloto, walang irregular dun?
Wala naman po, ma'am. Kasi po, when he was about to enter the area of jurisdiction of Manila Approach, duty-bound naman po ang piloto mag-switch doon sa frequency ng ginagamit ng approach para po malalaman din ng mga controller din sa approach kung nasaan na siya at saka ma-separate naman po siya sa mga traffic doon sa immediate area na yon.
Okay. So, yun, kasi di ba, nangyayari pag lumalabas ang isang bagay, halimbawa sa news or sa social media, meron palang kaakibat pa na isa pa dapat para makita natin yung kabuuan nito. So, kasi, kaya naman natin to tinatanong dahil syempre yung iba natatakot pagka ligtas ba talaga kami pag nawala ng komunikasyon. Yung pala, may mga iba't ibang frequency. Okay, yan ay para sa kaalaman natin. Maraming salamat. Ngayon, para magkaroon ng struktura itong ating pagdinig ngayon, para si Secretary Dominguez alam din niya yung kung saan siya papasok mamaya. Doon tayo sa airport modernization po, the next part of the hearing. But in the meantime, we'd like to finish in this Xiamen issue. So before we can do that, I think the most important and critical part is also to hear about the experiences of the passengers, what they went through that day. Because from this, we can learn what we should be able to prepare for in the future. Let's begin with Ms. Del Rosario. Can you please recount, tell us a story about what you've gone through during that incident?
Thank you po, Your Honor. Good morning po, Your Honor, and sa lahat po. Ako po si Elshina Del Rosario, 34 years old, married, may isang anak at nakatira po sa Manila. Ako at ng mga kasama ko sa Jetstar Airlines Flight 3K766 patungo sa Singapore noong August 18, 2018, Sabado 9:45 p.m. ay humihingi po ng tulong sa inyo para mabayaran, ma-address ang aberya na naranasan namin ng araw na yon. Kami po ay nakaschedule ng company at family trip na binubuo po ng 13 adults, 1 senior na aking ina, 1 infant na aking anak, 1 toddler, 5 years old na aking pamangkin. August 16, ito po yung Xiamen Airline News. Mula nang nabalitaan namin ang aksidente ng Xiamen Airlines, masugod namin minomonitor ang flight namin. May kakilala din po kasi kami na na-cancel at na-rebook ang flights dahil po sa pangyayari. Noong August 18, Saturday, kami po ng aming pamilya at kasama sa trabaho ay mga frequent flyers na po. Lagi po naming nasa isip na dapat 3 to 4 hours kami maaga bago sa oras ng flight. Normally po, ang travel time from Manila to airport ay maximum 1 hour via Skyway or NAIA X. Ngunit sa araw pong ito, naranasan namin mag-travel ng 2 to 3 hours. Nag-worry kami kung aabot ba kami sa deadline ng check-in kasi po walang web check-in si Jetstar para sa flight ng Manila to Singapore. Para makaabot po kami ng 9 p.m. check-in ng Jetstar. Doon na lang po kami nagpababa sa arrival area ng NAIA Terminal 1 at umakyat na lang po kami sa hagdanan na may dalang malalaking maleta, stroller at backpacks. Tiniis po namin yung pasakit na ganon para hindi lang maiwanan ng eroplano. Thank God po nakaabot kami. Pagdating po sa airport, sobrang daming tao. First time po naming makakita ng ganong kadaming tao. Yung pila sobrang haba, halos madapa na rin kami kasi ang daming nakaharang ng mga maleta at mga tao. Pagdating namin sa check-in counter, tinanong namin agad ang Jetstar kung delayed ba ang flight. Sabi nila wala pa naman daw announcement. Wala din po nakalagay na gate number sa boarding pass at sabi nila i-a-announce na lang. Mabilis naman po ang pila sa immigration pero paglagpas po ng immigration, nagulat po kami sa aming mga nakita. Mas madaming tao sa loob. Kung saan nakahiga, nakalatag, nakaupo, sa sahig, malapit sa CR at sa basurahan. Dahil po yung mga pasahero wala pang gate numbers na ina-announce at matinong mauupuan. Lahat ng restaurants ay puno at mahaba ang pila. Buti na lang po may mga baon kaming pagkain na nasa hand carry. Yung tubig na para sa kape at cup noodles ay binibenta ng 10 pesos. Mahina at hindi malinaw ang sound system sa loob ng NAIA Terminal 1 Airport. Kaya ang mga ground staff ng iba't ibang airlines ay naglilibot at sinisigaw yung flight details. 9:45 p.m. po ang flight namin at ang boarding time ay 9:20 p.m. Wala pa rin pong announcement ng gate ng flight namin. Kami na po ang kusang naghanap at nagtanong-tanong ng gate number namin, dun nga po sa gate number 1. Past 10 p.m., wala pa ring boarding announcement. By 11 p.m., pinalipat kami sa gate 2. Doon namin nalaman na yung flight na sinundan namin na 7:30 p.m. ETD or estimated departure ay hindi pa rin nakakaalis pero nasa loob na ng eroplano. Hinabaan pa namin ang aming pasensya kahit puyat, gutom, pagod, stress at nilalamig na kami sa kakaantay. Bawat oras nagpa-follow up kami, pero by 3 a.m. doon na kami umalma. Bakit wala pa ring update? Paulit-ulit nilang sinasabing walang advice at wala pang clearance na hindi namin maintindihan. August 19, Sunday, around 4 a.m., nag-announce na ang manager on duty ng Jetstar PAGS na si Ms. Hazel Ann Bobiles at ng piloto na Flight 3K766 kasama yung cabin crew na hindi matutuloy ang flight. Humingi ng paumanhin ang piloto at nagpaliwanag na kailangan nilang magpahinga ng 12 hours as standard aviation rules and regulation. Kanina pa sila naghihintay ng go signal kung papali pa rin ba sila o hindi. Pero wala pa rin daw pong binibigay ang mga authorities for clearance to fly. Pagkatapos ng announcement, pinababa ang mga pasahero ng naunang flight. Sama-sama na po kaming lahat sa gate number 2. Ang Jetstar daw po ay sinubukang i-check-in kami lahat, kaya lang fully booked. Tinatry nilang tumawag sa mga fast food chains or ibang restaurants para sa pagkain namin, pero hindi daw available kasi madaling araw na. Sinabihan po kami na 9 a.m. magbibigay ng food. Nagtanong kami kung pwede kami na lang maghanap ng hotel na malapit sa airport dahil hindi pa rin po nila sure kung hapon o gabi pa ang flight namin. Pumayag po sila at sinabi nila Miss Bobiles at yung piloto, basta may resibo, marerefund sa Jetstar Singapore. Ayaw na rin po namin kasing maranasan yung sinapit namin noong August 18. Binalikan ulit namin si Miss Bobiles kung may budget at pareho pa rin sagot niya, basta daw may resibo. Pinalista pa po niya ang mga pangalan namin para ma-reschedule sa same day. Napanatag po ako kasi kailangan na po talaga namin magpahinga. Nagtawag po kami ng iba't ibang hotels kahit sa Ermita at Malate area near Rojas Boulevard, pero fully booked po. Sa lahat ng tinawagan namin, sila Hyatt City of Dreams at Midas Hotel lang po ang tumanggap sa amin. Hindi po kami kaagad nakalabas ng airport dahil hinihintay po namin yung mga bagahe namin. Around 7 a.m. na po kami nakapag-check-in. Mabait naman po ang Midas at Hyatt kasi they allowed us to stay until 2 p.m. Noong pa-check out na po kami, past 1 p.m., I received an email from Jetstar with a registered time of 10:54 a.m. Nakasaad po doon yung new time ng departure namin na 8 p.m. of the same day at nakasaad na ang budget was only 4,000 pesos per room, 1,000 pesos for food per person at transportation. Panatag pa rin po ako kasi pinanghahawakan ko po yung mga sinabi sa amin ni Ms. Bobiles at ng pilot na basta may resibo, ire-refund ng Jetstar Singapore. Past 4 p.m., nag-check-in po ulit kami August 19 for the new schedule 3K17668 p.m. Doon po kami pumila sa Jetstar Special Assistance Desk. Bago kami mag-check-in, nire-confirm ko ulit yung refund ng hotel booking at sinabi po ulit nila nung babae na naka-assign doon, basta may resibo, ire-refund ng Jetstar sa Singapore. Again, napanatag po ako ulit. Between 5 to 8 p.m., dating gawi po, uupo kami sa sahig, basta bakante, kasi wala pong matinong mauupuan. Nakita din namin yung mga cabin crew at piloto, so natuwa kami, baka hindi delayed ang flight kasi maaga silang dumating. Ito din po yung chance na kinausap namin yung piloto, bakit nagkaganito. He explained, and I quote, "It is the Manila airport problem, not Jetstar." Again, nireconfirm ko yung refund and he said to keep the receipts and claim the refund from Jetstar. Pumunta na po kami sa gate namin, pero sobrang crowded. Yung pala, nandun po yung naunang flight na sinundan namin. Nagwawala na nga po yung ibang nationalities kasi walang announcement. Tapos nagsabi sa amin, yung mga kasabayan namin, walang dumating na food nung 9 a.m. Mga after lunch na daw, dumating na parang tinapay lang ang binigay. By 11 p.m., di pa rin kami nakakaalis. Lahat po nagagalit. Kawawa po kami, lalo na yung mga matatanda at mga bata na sobrang pagod sa naranasan nila. Nagsisigawan na po lahat ng "We want a flight." May video po yon, pinost ng sister ko sa Facebook. Gumawa ng paraan ng mga ground staff, nataranta na rin po sila. Kasi pagod, antok, at gutom na po talaga kami lahat. Past 12 a.m., in-announce na ang boarding namin. Pinagbus kami papuntang Terminal 2. Sa loob po yun ng airport. Kasi doon po nakapark yung eroplano ng Jetstar. To be honest po, hindi po na-pacify ng mga ground staff ang mga passengers. Bilang concerned person po, ako po ang tumulong at nag-initiate na ayusin nila yung pila para ma-organize. At makaalis na po kami. Pinauna ko po muna yung mga matatanda at mga may anak, and the rest followed. Binigyan po kami ng free food sa plane. August 20, past 2 a.m., we departed Manila.
Thank you for the very detailed narration of what you've gone through. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Ngayon, so Ms. Del Rosario, sinasabi mo, normally it takes about 1 hour, and it took about 3 hours for your flight. But the entire ordeal, you were there, what day? Your flight was on the August 18th.
August 18 po, 9:45 p.m.
August 18, nakaalis ka ng?
August 20 na po, past 2 a.m.
Okay. Ngayon, ang mga nakalap ko dun sa mga sinabi mo ha, unang-una, mahina yung sound system.
Yes po.
Hindi coordinated nga kung anong gate kayo at anong kailan ang flight ninyo. Pati yung ground staff siguro ng Jetstar, hindi rin sinabi from the beginning na merong limit kung magkano ang pwede ninyong gastusin. Kasi
Yes, ma'am.
naintindihan naman natin talaga na hindi nila siguro kaya lahat ng fees ng mga hotel, pero dapat umpisa pa lang alam ninyo. Ngayon, kung 4,000 lang, yun lang ang nabigay sa inyo.
Wala pa po. Actually po,
Bakit?
lagi po kaming pinaghihintay at pinagpapasapasahan ng mga call center agents po.
Ng Jetstar?
Ng Jetstar po.
Pero ang Jetstar ba, saan ba nakarehistro yan? Singapore?
Actually, ma'am, ang problema nga po is wala silang tao dito. Ang third party po nila is PAGS. Dating Miascor, tapos nalipat po sila sa PAGS.
Kaya nagkaganon. O sige, so siguro dapat meron tayong help desk din sa, or representative ng, ewan ko kung sinong pwede dapat dito, airline advocate na magpa-follow up dito sa mga kasi nagbayad ka siguro with a credit card, correct?
Yes po.
So dapat mag-credit ka for those days, di ba?
Yes po. Actually po, due siya ngayong September.
Oh.
Yun nga po. Nag-firm po sila sa akin na last week, Thursday, na hindi sila magbabayad kasi Manila daw po kami nakatira. Which is parang, yun po ang reason po nila. Manila po kami nakatira, kaya hindi sila magbabayad. So parang, sa totoo lang po para akong na-disappoint na bakit gano'n, hindi naman namin kasalanan yun. At hindi po kami magbubook ng hotel without the permissions of Jetstar Team PAGS and the pilot.
But, okay. So, tingnan nyo yan, ha? Sino ba dito ang dapat magsalita ukol dyan? Civil Aviation Board, Aeronautics Board. Kayo po, ano pong pwedeng gawin para dito? Akalain mo, ha? Kumikita sila sa ating bansa, kumukuha sila ng pasahero, tapos sasabihin nila, dahil Pilipino, walang matatanggap na benepisyo. Tama po ba yon, Cap?
Thank you, Madam Chair, for the opportunity. Actually, we have people on the ground that were monitoring the events at the airports, at the terminals. And then we also gathered data or complaints from the social media. And then we were able to gather this information. We issued a show-cause order for Jetstar to explain their side of the story, and it's now under investigation. In fact, I have with me, Madam Chair, the response of, this is limited only to the food. No? They have a response saying that there was this shortage of food because the providers, maybe because of the big number of people who needed to be fed during that time, the food providers in the area, in the vicinity, could not provide or address the demand. So this is currently being investigated because under our regulations, airlines, whether it is force majeure or not, are required to provide nourishment, the proper nourishment depending on the time of day for the affected passengers. And this is a little step beyond what is standard, Madam Chair, because globally, the rule is if the cause of the delay or cancellation is force majeure, then the airlines are not liable for amenities. But in the EU, they provide. In the US, they do not. But in the Philippines, we do. So these things are being investigated. Many airlines were able to provide the amenities required by the regulation. Some of them could not provide the hotels because there were shortages of hotel rooms also, Madam Chair. And so, for example, during the last hearing, PAL testified that they gave, I think, 3,000 pesos for each person who are entitled to a hotel accommodation. Now, with regard to the residency or residence of the affected passengers, honestly, we do not have a hard and fast rule in the Philippines yet. We are studying it. But in some countries, for example, in the US, if you live beyond 160 miles from the airport, then you are entitled to hotel accommodation. But here in the Philippines, the airlines do it on a case-to-case basis. For example, if the passenger, the delay would last until the morning, or the passenger is a transit passenger, then the airline normally would provide the hotel accommodation. So in this case, Your Honor, the matter is being investigated by us. We have received a reply from Jetstar, and we are continuing the investigation, Your Honor. Thank you.
So ang sinasabi po ninyo dito sa ating bansa, wala tayo talagang kasunduan pagdating sa accommodation.
By regulation, Your Honor, we have, depending on whether the person is entitled, for example, he's a transit passenger, or, for example, the delay lasts until the next day.
So dito, clearly, because it lasted more than the next day, dapat meron, di ba?
Usually, Your Honor, the airline would provide the hotel for those whose houses or residences are outside of the periphery of the airport. But we do not, honestly, we do not have a hard and fast rule.
Because
if they live in Manila, for example, maybe the airline would not consider that appropriate.
Kasi po ganito, obviously we're giving them the right and the privilege to be able to fly their routes here in the Philippines, correct? So before we even accept them or give them the authority, we should have all of those agreements with them. How are they going to treat our passengers? Do we have that on file, sir? Any agreement from Jetstar or Xiamen with regards to how they treat passengers in situations like this?
We do not have an agreement with them, but they are bound by our regulation. When they operate to the Philippines, they are bound by our existing regulations, and those
And our
matters.
regulations state that.
Our regulations require that when the passenger is entitled to a hotel, depending on the circumstances, that the airline should provide a hotel, Your Honor.
Okay, saan ka ba nakatira? Sabi mo, nasa Manila ka, no?
Opo.
So baka ma-technical. But the fact is, if you have it on record that you spoke to a ground representative and the pilot himself said that you will be reimbursed, this is something that she can pursue because that's obviously miscommunication on their part, correct? And
I agree, Your Honor.
she may be entitled.
Yes,
So,
Your Honor. And what we do, if I can add, Your Honor, is that when there is a major disruption in the airports, we write immediately, we issue advisory to all the airlines advising them to deal with the problem and provide the necessary amenities to the airlines. In fact, we require them to submit what we call a flight disruption management program, which we reviewed. And that's why when we observed what happened during the incident, some of the airlines were able to mobilize their people on the ground to enhance the personnel to address the concerns of the passengers.
Pero sir, ganito, katulad ni Ms. Del Rosario, sino pwede niyang kausapin sa ating gobyerno para tulungan siya halimbawa dito sa kanyang naging kanyang hiling dito sa Jetstar, sinong pwede niyang
Sa amin po,
tawagan?
ma'am, we have a hotline, we have chats, we have people on the airports, we have roving teams. That's why we're able to gather those incident
Ano yung
reports.
hotline po ninyo?
Ano yung hotline?
16566.
16566 po. 16566.
16566.
Oh.
So,
And,
Ma'am, Your Honor, can I add something on
yeah,
that?
sure.
After po kasi ng flight namin, bumalik na kami ng Pilipinas, yan po ang una kong ginawa.
Tumawag ka sa 165.
Nag-email, hindi po, out of respect sa Jetstar, nakipag-coordinate po ako kaagad sa kanila for the refund. Pumunta po ako sa PAGS, Jetstar PAGS na iya Terminal 1 regarding sa claims namin. Nireconfirm po ni Miss Bobiles na sinabi po niya yon, kaharap po ang mother ko.
Okay, so meron
po kaming
pruweba.
acknowledgement.
Oo.
So out of help din po niya, nag-email po siya ulit sa Jetstar Singapore ng mga receipts po namin at follow-ups. So, kumbaga po kami, ang kami po is, ang after lang namin is matulungan po. Kasi hindi rin po naman talaga namin, hindi po kami magbubook ng walang approval.
Correct.
Yun po yun. Kung sabihin po nila na mag-stay kayo sa airport kasi wala namang advice, okay po, mag-i-stay kami. Pero wala po. Tsaka po, Madam, Your Honor, yung traffic na ginugol namin ng Saturday pong yun na 2 to 3 hours, sobrang pasakit po talaga.
Hindi, talagang,
Sobra
lalo
po.
na kung meron kang anak, meron kang nakakatandang kasama. So, sa cab, ganito, no, tawagan mo tong number na ito, kumuha ng representative, anong pwede nilang gawin? Kayo ang tatawag sa Jetstar para mag-follow up?
Actually po, ang talagang first recourse ng passenger is the airline dahil meron din naman silang mga tao nagdidil sa mga concerns. Pagka po nag-fail yun o kaya kailangan ng assistee, kami po ay nakahanda kaagad. Meron naman kami mga tao doon na nagro-roving, meron din kaming desk, may hotline, meron po kaming chat that interactive po yung chat namin.
Hindi, pero ganito nga kung binabaliwala ka nga ng airline, hindi ka pinapansin, pero valid naman ang claim mo, meron ba kayong pwedeng gumitna sa airline at sa kanila?
Opo.
Like an authority from the cab that will actually facilitate dialogue with the passengers and the airlines. Meron?
Yes po, kukunin po namin ngayon yung data.
Sir, you
Kukunin
were
namin.
trying to say something? Ikaw ba yan?
Ma'am, kukunin na rin po namin yung complaint po ngayon para makuha na po namin yung record.
Saan ka po uli?
Sa Civil Aeronautics Board po.
Ayan.
Apo, ngayon din po.
So, kukunin. Sige, maraming salamat. Ganito I'd like to acknowledge lang certain things. And I appreciate that Philippine Airlines submitted this to me. They were saying that, para lang alam natin yung nangyari, ang Philippine Airlines, halimbawa, nagkaroon sila ng 5,968 rebooking and rerouting. Refund, nagbigay sila ng 742 for a total of 6,710. Nagbigay sila ng tubig, 38,325, I guess, units. Hot meals, 74,089. Snacks, 19,507. So, maybe not so much, pero ito, sa Davao, nagbigay sila ng rooms, 98. Cebu, 7. Saigon, 343. Hong Kong, 100. Haneda, 318. Manila, 539. So, these reports are important. We don't know the ratio of the actual passengers that were inconvenienced, but at least PAL submitted this. Ito yung aking out of curiosity. Yung sa ating mga ground handlers, yung logistics, no? Sa lahat ng eroplano, you prepare meals, correct? Sino ba dito sa ground logistics? Kayo, di ba? In charge ba kayo sa mga pagkain? Ganon?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Hindi na tuloy ang flight.
Yes.
Pero nahanda na yung pagkain na yon. Anong ginawa niyo? Tinapon niyo?
Good morning once again, Your Honor. Discretion na po yan ng airline whether to get the meals and these meals to be fed to their passengers.
But it wasn't done. Am I correct?
Some of the airlines did, Your Honor. Some retrieved the meals that we have prepared and they had served it to their passengers.
But not, okay. The reason why I'm asking this is, there are several posts of people working for the commissaries that provide food for the flights, and they were saying that they had to dispose of the food because the flight did not push through. And I think Mr. Monreal and for the cab, maybe this can be a contingency in the future, because even if the airport has the cash to provide food, maybe they won't be able to provide food immediately. But since the flight is canceled, can't they use that food and give it to the passengers that are waiting?
Yes, Your Honor, they can. It is the prerogative of the airline to claim these meals because they had already ordered for the meals and they are going to pay for it. And so what they normally do is to have these meals served to the passengers.
Oo, sa mga airline, di ba pwedeng consider yan? Na-cancel ang flight nyo, nag-iintay mga pasahero, imbis na masayang ang pagkain, yun ang ibigay ninyo.
Madam Chairman, we do. In fact, during tarmac delays, yun po yung immediate na ipapakain po namin. Also, if based on basic food standards po, kung yung quality ng food pwede pa po, then we will serve it. Otherwise, we will not because of a safety reason. So, but also, Your Honor, at that time, yung caterer po namin, ang ground handlers po namin and yung caterers namin, they also ran out of supplies na rin po. So we had to go outside our caterers.
Okay.
So,
Totoo ba na may mga ground handlers na parang nag-boycott at umalis nung mga sitwasyon na yun? May narinig po kayo, Mr. Monreal?
So far, wala naman po.
Sa NAIA, wala naman.
Na umalis, lumabas at hindi tumulong po. Wala po.
Wala naman. Matanong ko po kayo, nabasa ko kasi sa periodiko na sinasabi ninyo, ang mga airlines, yung mga nagkaroon ng uncoordinated flights, which is more than 61? No,
Total, ma'am, 78 arrival and departure.
Okay, so 78. But about 30-something of it were international flights, correct?
Majority, or if not all, puro international flights po.
Okay. Sinasabi ninyo na you will actually penalize them and charge them 5,000 pesos per passenger. Okay, so that will come out to, what's the average number of passengers per flight ba? Mga 200, di ba, for international, or 100?
On the average, probably yes, ma'am, 200 to 250. But we're looking at the seat capacity of each.
So meaning, whether or not there were passengers on those seats, you will charge them for the number of seats.
You're leading to, ma'am. Pinag-aaralan po namin.
So, hindi, okay. So if that's your prerogative, that's fine. If you think that it's just, obviously, if they violated protocols that could have endangered that would have jeopardized the safety of the passengers. But my question is this: how much are you possibly going to be earning from this minimum?
Roughly about maybe 42 million, more or less.
What do you intend to do with that money?
Stays with the income of the authority.
Okay, that's fine to have your income, but for the benefit of the passengers, how will you improve your services with that money?
We have budgets for, if we're talking about moving forward, ma'am. We have already, we're talking about how to put up a kitty for this kind of situations or incident. We are also, that amount will also form part of the total income, and half of which is being remitted to the national government. And it will form part of our improvements for the airport.
Kasi ganito, government should not be in the business of making money alone, or should not really be in that business. It should be in the business of service. Okay. So if you have that money, can you tell me, from the incident that happened, what reforms do you plan to do in the airport? Ito na, papunta na tayo sa conclusion natin dito kasi wala pa naman tayong siguro later on with Secretary Tugade, dito tayo sa modernization, no? Pero ito muna, narinig natin yung kwento ni Ms. Del Rosario. Okay, narinig natin na yung mga pasahero naghihintay na gano'n, mahina ang sound system. Anong gagawin natin dyan? Halos natutulog na sa tabi-tabi, anong gagawin natin dyan? Yung ating immigration may problema dahil ang daming pasahero, kulang sila. So, ano yung mga reformang gagawin mo para yung pera na kinikita ninyo sa airport ay mapunta naman sa totoong serbisyo sa ating mga kababayan?
Okay. As regards to yung paging system po na sinasabing hindi malinaw, titingnan ho namin yan. Dahil ang pagkakaalam ko naman po, maayos, baka on that particular day, may problema, titingnan po namin yan at kung anong dapat na ipagawa, papagawa ho namin. As regards to immigration, at yung walang maupuan, walang matulugan yung mga pasahero,
hindi naman tayo airport na may hotel. Okay, that's fine.
Apo.
Pero, ano pa? Sound system.
Pag-aaralan po namin, titingnan namin kung talagang kailangan po ipayos. Baka nagkataon lang po yung pangyayaring ganon on that particular time. Maybe because of the many people inside the terminal. Titingnan ho namin yon.
Bakit nagkaroon kayo ng non-coordination sa mga airlines? Di ba pagkatapos nun dapat yung crisis board o kung anong tawag sa inyo, dapat nag-meeting. Kayo, how many hours after the incident were you called to a meeting, airlines, with the GM?
Madam Chair, as we manifested last time, we had a coordination meeting with the team of GM Montreal on August 24, which was a Friday.
So that was the first time that you actually met with GM Montreal?
With all airlines and GM, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the Vice Chair of the Committee on Public Services, Senator JB. Thank you, sir. But before that, who was coordinating with airport management as to the gate, assignments, etc.?
For PAL, Your Honor, we do have a safety department that would be coordinating on an hourly basis with a personnel of MIAA. But also,
nandito ba sila?
Wala po, ma'am.
Siguro dapat makausap, ano bang naging breakdown? Bakit ang iba, hindi nila alam kung anong gate ang assigned sa kanila? Sino ba dapat ang nagsasabi sa kanila kung ano ba sa tingin niya nangyari doon?
But ma'am, Your Honor, for the gate assignments, I believe our airport personnel who were at the airport at that time would have also close coordination with MIAA and ask for gate assignments. But I think because of I think maybe the sheer number of cancellations and delays at the time, it may have caused possible miscommunication or lack of communication just because there was a great number of canceled flights and delays because of the incident.
Okay, so when you met with GM Montreal on the 24th, who were present in the meeting, airline representatives, what was your conclusion in the meeting? What points did you discuss? What were the points of discussion?
Among others, if I recall, Your Honor, GM Montreal actually raised the issue on uncoordinated flights. He asked some of the members who were present at that time. I also recall having been asked about our passenger handling, as to whether or not the airlines complied with requirements under the Passenger Bill of Rights.
Okay. GM Montreal, can you submit to this committee recommendations that you have so that the airport will function optimally in situations like this or in crisis? Not just the technical aspects, also of improving, obviously, the safety of the passengers through coordination with the air traffic control, etc., the retrieval group, but also the services of the airport, basically food and the time in motion with immigration. Would you be able to submit that to us?
We will submit, Madam Chair.
You know, recently there was an earthquake in Japan, and we know that. And with their airport, so there was an issue about flooding and drainage, but they had a master plan as to how to go about their rehabilitation of the airport and restoring normalcy. So these things, I think, do you have those those contingency plans in place? Do you have those, Mr. Monreal?
We have the contingency plan, ma'am, in place. But if I just recall, some about 10, 15 years ago, Mia was also flooded. It's really something that, yes, we have a contingency plan, but to what extent this contingency plan will be able to be implemented, or depending on the challenge, I cannot say that we're fully covered.
So how would you be able to determine that? You'd say that we're not fully covered. So what can we do to make sure that we are prepared?
What we do is a timely or a monthly declogging of all the drainage that we have. That's only what we can do as a preventive measure, because that building has been constructed since 1982. So we really don't know if the current drainage system will be able to address the calamities or the future calamities that we will be facing.
Senator JV, actually right now we're still discussing about what could have been done during that time. And then the second half of our hearing, hopefully we finish by 1 o'clock, would be about airport modernization and the different proposals. So perhaps, just for the record, I'd like to mention Cebu Pacific just submitted this. There's 60 passengers that they had rebookings on their website. 25,000 bottles of water distributed, 40,000 rice meals distributed. But actually, how many passengers were affected?
Madam Chair, around 36,000 passengers were directly affected.
Only 36,000 passengers were affected.
Yes, Madam Chair.
But how come you said 60 passengers rebooked? So they're also affected.
Actually, 60 ang naabot po nung text message, emails namin sa around 100,000 passengers.
So hindi na
So yung iba po nag-rebook na. Ang nagkapag-rebook po is around 60,000 passengers.
Okay, very good. Okay. All right, Senator JV, you have questions regarding the incident?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everybody. Anyway, just during the last hearing, we pointed out that probably one of the reasons, siguro, moving forward, looking in the future, kung hopefully this doesn't happen again, pero yung coordination, siguro, GM Ed Monreal, probably, we can answer yung, or any representative from the airline operators, are they here, aside from PAL and Pacific? Are anybody from the airline operators present? Wala po.
Mr. Chairman, I think I'm not trying to volunteer, but Bar Chairman is here, who represents the airlines as well.
Okay, sige.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, Mr. Velasquez?
Yes, sir.
Apo. Kayo po ang representative ng mga airlines.
Correct.
Apo. One of the things that, siguro that time naman, hindi naman natin inaano ang MIA authority because of what was happening also. Because siguro hindi naman natin yung ganun kalaking problema rin. But probably one of the reasons that this became really out of control, sabihin na natin out of control, is because of probably lack of coordination. Sa tingin ko, in my own opinion, no, na sabi ko nga last time, if you were here, that because of the rolling NOTAM, yung pong notice to airmen na sinabi 12 noon, by 12 noon, magbubukas na, and then 3 o'clock p.m., and so on and so forth. So, nangyari siguro na to cut losses, of course, if you're the airline, you will already tell your outport, o yung home base to launch the aircraft already. Tama ko ba? Siyempre, gagawin niyo po yun. Just, tama pa, mali?
Tama po. Yeah.
So that was what happened. Ang sa tingin ko, because of that rolling notice to airmen na binagalong-ganon, kaya nagkagulo-gulo. So nagsabay-sabay siguro ng dating, especially those from the regional and from the long haul, you already asked them to already launch yung aircraft para papunta dito.
Yes, Your Honor. Actually, it was really a problem during that day, that particular day. Lahat ng airlines were challenged by the rolling deadlines given by the authorities. Yeah. So it was indeed a problem and challenge for all of us.
Again, moving forward, siguro hindi rin naman natin masisi ang airport authorities that siguro ang isip nila that madaling maiaalis because of the situation that time, di ba? Mabigat din yung aircraft. It's no joke. Kahit na 737 lang yun with 4 tons of fuel and likewise muddy, very muddy na tuloy-tuloy ang ulan, nahirapan din. Tama, Eddie, kahit na nandun na Monreal, no? Kahit na nandun na yung mga cranes yun, nahirapan din nuwang i-lift ka agad dahil hindi kayo makapwesto. Tama ho ba?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Tama po.
Anyway, moving forward po sa airline operators, hindi ba kayo nagpadala ng any representative or anybody or any emissary? O were you just relying or waiting for the information that the MIA authority or the CAAP was releasing?
Your Honor, all of the airlines represented by the board, we were in coordination with the MIAA and the CAB. So there was coordination.
There was coordination. Oh, you're just relying from the information.
Yes, correct, Your Honor.
Oh. So what was the anong pinakamalaking problema? The rolling no time. That was it.
Well,
would you attribute all of this chaos as a result because of incoming flights? Talaga problema yun eh. Ground handling mo na, I can imagine, it was already a nightmare.
Yes,
minsan nga lang, nag-iintay ka ng aircraft, pag puno doon, walang ground handling, nag-iintay ka, just imagine kung lahat ito nagsabay-sabay. So, sige po.
Yes, Your Honor, it was really chaotic during that day. Maraming airlines naka-pending nasa air, and they cannot land at the MIAA. Some, in fact, were diverted to different airports. Yeah.
Likewise, the other hearing, Jim, I pointed this out because malaking problema talaga yung lack of coordination. Jim Edmondrial said that you were asked, kasi you were supposed to be part of that airport crisis control management sa tuwing magkakaroon ng crisis. Kasama po dapat ang airline representative. But during that time, according to the MIA, to Jim Edmondrial, the airlines did not, pinapatawag daw kayo, hindi daw kayo nag-attend. Is that true?
We have actually two organizations, the Board of Airline Representatives, that's represented by the head of airlines operating in the Philippines, and then we have our station managers, which are represented at the airport, and they are the airport operators club. No, they were the one who were called for that meeting, and I think they were all represented during that particular meeting.
Anyway, again, at least we pointed out, hopefully next time we'll have better coordination this time, no? So that we will avoid what happened. No? Would you call those, sir? Siguro going back, no? Itong mga, going back dun sa tinatanong kanina regarding the uncoordinated flights, would you call that uncoordinated flights or hindi ba kasama yung recovery flights yan, GMED?
It was partly, Mr. Chairman, it was partly a recovery flight. But any recovery flight, for that matter, must be coordinated with the airport authority at least 24 hours before mounting it.
So those 61 were uncoordinated. 61.
Bali, 78 na yan.
78.
What we are really just after is the inbound. Kasi yung inbound po, maraming komplikasyon yon. Walang parking, walang check-in, walang, mas importante yung malaman namin na may parating.
Especially yung ground handling, yung gate, lahat yan, kailangan nyo malaman. Tama. So, yun po, I have a list, no, of the coordinated, ano po nangyari doon? Were they fined or because of the situation? Ano po, what was the, what
May
was the
pinag-aralan na po
action?
kaming PINA para sa kanila. It will be soon be implemented pag na-finalize na po namin. Basihan.
I would like to ask the airlines, would you accept that those were uncoordinated flights? Did you not coordinate with the authorities?
Each airline received a notice or a letter from the MIAA authorities about the uncoordinated flights. The plan of, as of last week, all the airlines decided that to attend to their own individual problem because it was addressed to the different airlines concerned. So each airline should address this problem individually.
So would you what's your answer? Is it really uncoordinated? Would you ask what the authorities have said?
Well, sir, it will depend on each airline. They will have to talk to the
It depends on the
authorities.
airline.
Thank you.
Vice Chair, I have a quick question. Maybe we should go back to the situation that occurred and the responses that were made. Secretary Togade, with being the Secretary of Transportation, do you hold anyone liable or responsible? Or perhaps, what is your analysis? Who are liable for the worsening situation during that incident? Meron na ba kayong nasabon o nasabihan to improve their performance?
Ano po yung ibig sabihin ng nasabon?
Meron na kayong napagsabihan? Sino ba talaga dapat ang responsable dito para hindi naging ganun ang sitwasyon?
Una po, Madam Chair, ang Xiamen incident ay nakoso ng Xiamen Airline. Kung ang sasabihin ho, meron po ba akong mga taong nasabon o sinabon dahil hindi na asikaso yung estado ng problema, wala ho. Pagkat sa aking pananaw ho, nagawa po ng MIAA, nagawa ng CAAP, nagawa ng CAB, lahat ng pamunuan at mga aming kasama, ang kanilang mga tungkulin within the conditions that were there at that time. In other words, we were acting, Madam, on the basis of foresight. That having been said, habang ginagawa po yun, okay naman po ang pagtatrabaho nila. Liwanagin ko lang po yung nabanggit nung araw na hindi man lang ako pumunta sa lugar. Nandun po ako nung unang araw, hindi lang ako nagpakita. Nandun ako sa opisina ni Mr. Monreal. Kaya lang hindi ako nagpakitang personal. Kasi kilala ko yung presensya ko, yung baka mataranta lang yung mga tao.
Ba't hindi nyo sinabi na nandun pala kayo nung unang araw, hindi lang kayo lumabas ng opisina?
Ma'am, hindi ako napibigyan nung last hearing. Nabanggit ko na nandun ako. If you will check the transcript, I was there, I mentioned that. But then, it was noticed in passing. You know?
Okay.
Nandun ho yan. Sana ho nandun sa transcript yan.
Pero, Secretary, ito po yung sinasabi din ng ating ni Senator JV, yung unang crisis management team, bakit hindi sinama ang mga airline representatives?
Siguro ho, Madam, para technical na yan at dato ng operasyon.
Nandun ba kayo sa crisis management meeting?
Wala po. Kasi ang mga miyembro ho dan ay specified in position and by name. Kung maaari lang po, Madam Chair, ipasa ko lang yung mga kwan para mabigay yung mga posisyon at pangalan ng tao na involved dun sa crisis management.
Sino po yung representative ng airline dun sa crisis management?
At the time of the incident, no one came around. But I was in touch with them, telling them of what's going on. No one volunteered to come over.
Because you are saying that it should have been on a voluntary basis? Is that?
Maybe yes, maybe no. But the point there is, when I was still with the airline, I normally go to the site and nobody stops me. And the same manner, these airlines were also welcome to be there.
But you should have called them to be there, right? Whether they liked it or not.
Maybe hindsight, I was wrong at that time that I did not call them.
But I mean, you know what, sir? We didn't expect. Well, we should have probably anticipated it, but we'll never really know until it happens. Sometimes, okay. So moving forward, I think now it should not be on a voluntary basis. It should be more on who is your point person. Okay, let's go. Let's be a little bit more specific now. Let's say Philippine Airlines and Cebu Pacific. If there was an incident like this, who would you send to join GM Monreal in the crisis management meeting?
Madam Chair, meron po kaming point person for airports.
Sino siya?
Si Mr. Ed Nobilias. Siya po yung nakikipag-coordinate sa MIA.
Okay. How about Philippine Airlines? Who would you send?
Madam Chairman, we do have also our crisis management team, but for purposes of going to ground zero, our safety department, in fact, at that time, I was informed by our safety department that they wanted to visit the site, but I think for safety reasons, they were not allowed to.
No,
do so.
never mind about the site because you're not in the investigating team. I'm talking about the coordination with the airport officials so that your other flights will not be misinformed or affected. Who would you send? More an administration.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, we do have our VP for airport operations.
And who is that?
Meliton Pascual, who is here at this time, Your Honor.
Okay. So, GM Ed.
If I may, Madam Chairman, yes, moving forward, we'll definitely impose on them to come over. However, I just would like to relate my experience when I was still with the airline. The airline relies on the NOTAM. Admittedly, hindsight, we could have said 24 hours. Next time, if it happens, I hope it doesn't, we'll make it a standard that 24 hours will close the airport. Para ho, mabigyan ng pagpaplano, mirroring from what had happened. Yun na po ang gagawin namin standard, regardless of the size, the weight of the aircraft. Ganun na po ang gagawin natin.
I think mas maayos. I mean, of course, a lot will be inconvenience, no? Flights canceled. But at least if you have a time frame, they don't have to wait at the airport. Sir, you were going to add something, I noticed.
Yes, ma'am. At that point in time, our mindset was to remove the aircraft as soon as possible because I know the ramification, the congestions, and the problems that it will entail if we will not be able to remove the aircraft. That's why the initial protocol that we have suggested is almost 12 hours from midnight to 12 noon. Unfortunately, because of the worsening situation, sumamaho ang panahon, marami ho tayong consideration na nakita, kaya po humaba ng humaba. Admittedly, I'm taking full responsibility of making that sort of omission.
Right.
But at the end of the day, at the back of my mind, I want that aircraft to be out of the runway.
Correct. So I respect that and I appreciate your situation, sir. Nobody really can fully know the best thing to do at that particular time. That's why we have to prepare ahead of time. But having been, it's nice to know that you work with the airlines, so I'm sure your relations, hopefully with them, would be easier, more tenable, better. But can you include that, what you mentioned, in your suggestion on how to make you more responsive in the future? There are many facets to this. You have the retrieval, and then you have customer service, you have security, you also have the immigration part. So all of these things, maybe you can have a point person, just like Secretary Tugade has Undersecretary Tamayo for air concerns. for aviation concerns, which will bring me to my next question to Yusek Tamayo. Nag-announce po kasi na pumayag ang DOTR na magkaroon ng fuel surcharge ngayon. So dahil sa presyo ng krudo, tataas ang presyo ng pamasahe ng mga pasahero sa aeroplano. Tama po ba yan? Pinayagan ninyo?
Through the chair, ma'am. As far as the fuel surcharge is concerned, matagal hong pinag-aralan yan eh. In fact, there were hearings with airlines getting their inputs, and it was studied by CAB, and we studied what was implemented in other countries and what was given to us by the airlines. So meron hong matrix na in-establish, and this was studied by DOTR, headed by no less our secretary.
Okay, so you studied it,
Yes, ma'am.
and your findings would be to allow them to have the surcharge. We're not saying it's right or wrong. We just want to understand that, number one, that you approved it, and number two, from the airlines themselves, tell us how much more passengers will have to pay with this surcharge. So, sir, please answer the first one. Did you approve it?
As far as the OTR is concerned, we allowed the CAB board to approve the imposition of the fuel surcharge. So it is the board of CAB that will give the final say.
Okay, so CAB, magkano po ang madadagdag sa pamasahe ng ating mga pasahero?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yung pong dagdag sa pasahe, ang kabilin-bilin na po sa amin ni Secretary ay gumawa ng matrix para po sa ganun, hindi po maging arbitrary yung pagdadagdag ng surcharge. At kung sakali pong bumaba sila, automatic pong matatanggal o bababa in accordance with the prevailing maps, yung pong mean of plots of Singapore. Pinag-aralan din po namin yung mga surcharge sa ibang bansa, sa Japan, sapagkat ito po isang global practice na. So ang ating pong proteksyon sa mga mananakay ay upang magkaroon ng talagang komputasyon. Meron po tayong matrix na talagang ginawa, kaya matagal po bago namin na-aprobahan ito. Kasi po ang dating nung 2014 po, tinanggal po natin ang fuel surcharge nang bumaba ang fuel sa $67 per barrel, US dollars. Ngayon po nasa 90 na po ang per barrel ng crudo, ng aviation fuel. Kung kaya po ang mga airlines natin nag-apply na po ng surcharge, at yung pong ibang mga airlines na lumilipad dito galing sa ibang bansa, meron na po silang surcharge na in-approve ng kanilang home state. So
teka muna, may matrix, okay? So pinayagan nyo na. Ngayon ba ay ini-impose na ng airlines itong surcharge? Wala pa. Ay, ini-impose na ninyo?
Madam Chair, wala pa po ngayong imposition ng Cebu Pacific.
Wala pa. Kailan kayo mag-uumpisa?
Actually, ang mga airlines po, ang pagkakaalam ko, mag-a-apply pa lang po magsasubmit pa lang po ng revised petition. Kasi before po, Madam Chair, nag-file kami, pero hindi po yun inaksyonan ng CAB. Gumawa po sila, pinag-aralan po nila ng mabuti ng DOTR. At ngayon po ay may nagpasa sila ng resolution at base po sa matrix na inaprubahan ng CAB board ng DOTR, doon po namin ibabase po ang aming mga aplikasyon.
Oh, so ganito. Paano niya dinedetermina kung magkano ang itataas? Is it in proportion to the amount of, is it a percentage of the ticket price or is it a flat rate? Let's say, is it a flat rate of 100 pesos or more per passenger? How do you determine it?
Madam Chair, yung pong resolution ng CAB board, meron pong matrix, meron pong distansya. Say, ang distansya po ng isang ruta is mula 1 hanggang 200 kilometro, 200 mahigit hanggang 300, meron pong matrix doon.
So 200 to 300 pesos?
Hindi po, meron pong, depende po sa distansya sa ruta, meron pong naka-assign na specific fuel surcharge.
So bigyan mo ko ng idea. Kunyari, dito papuntang Cebu, magkano?
If I may, Madam Chair, hinati-hati po namin sa distansya. Halimbawa po yung distansya ay hindi lalampas ng 200 kilometers. Ang tanda ko po doon sa first column namin ng matrix, 80 pesos hanggang 100 per flight. Tapos po, merong 200 to 400 kilometers ang distansya, merong hanggang 600, at meron pong yung sa mga long haul na. Yung pong, kaya po, halimbawa, yung 200 kilometers po distansya, nakalam po doon yung mga ruta. Marami po yun. Kung ano-ano yung mga ruta na nasa ilalim ng ganung distansya.
So, nasa 80 pesos yon.
Opo, something like that
Yung
po.
Cebu ba, gaano kalayo? Ilang kilometro yan? Doon ba yan sa 200? Hindi.
Ang Cebu po kasi is about 600, 587
So you're talking
kilometers
about
po yan.
another 240 pesos on fuel surcharge?
More or less po.
Okay, so this is my question. You suspended it apparently in 2014 when the price of per barrel was low. Now, are you saying, pag bumaba uli ang presyo ng crudo, isuspend nyo uli ito?
Po, nakalagay po sa
Magkano
matrix
ang
natin.
ideal para
Pag bumaba po ang crude, ang kerosene, aviation fuel from the current 90, may corresponding na baba po yun. Meron pong per liter na presyo na nakalagay doon sa matrix natin. Bababa po siya accordingly, at pag dumating po sa threshold ng 60, ginawa po namin 70. Pag bumaba ng 70, tanggal na po ang fuel surcharge.
Pero sinasabi nyo ngayon, magkano na per barrel?
90 po.
So nandito yung ating Secretary of Finance. Sir, sa train po, di ba merong automatic suspension pagka $80 per barrel yung presyo sa merkado? Nasa 90 na po. So anong mangyayari? Baka wala ito sa committee natin. But out of curiosity, sir.
I think the law says when the price of Dubai crude goes to 90, there will be a suspension of the increase in the fuel tax. This is avgas, ma'am. This is not the one he's referring to is
Kerosene.
the price of avgas. It's not the price of Dubai crude.
Okay, so Dubai crude now is how much per barrel?
I don't know what it is today, ma'am, but it is in the, I think it's about $70. Would you know?
Okay.
I didn't check it what the price is today or last Friday. I can give it to you in a few minutes.
Okay, thank you, sir. So now, Kaap, you said that by next week, hopefully, you will have your international counterpart representatives present for your meeting. And you said part of your investigation will involve interviewing the pilot. Am I correct? The pilot of Xiamen?
That is correct, ma'am. I-verify ho namin yung nakita namin sa flight data recorder at saka sa sinabi nila kung ano ba ang ibig sabihin noon.
Okay. Ngayon, nakaalis na yung piloto. Ay hindi naman ako nagdududa na hindi pero I would like to ask Xiamen Airlines if there's a need to interview the pilot here in the Philippines, the pilot of that flight. Are you willing to let the pilot join the investigation and send him back here to the Philippines?
Madam Chair, the Xiamen Airlines has repeatedly assured not just the Honorable Committee but the CAAP that they will fully cooperate with the investigation. So I would expect that the pilot will be available, whether physically or perhaps electronically via video conference or teleconference for a possible interview by the investigative committee.
And when do you plan to remit the penalties that you incurred? Supposedly, Mr. Monreal, GM Monreal, you said nasa 70 plus million na, no?
Based on our arrangement last week, nagtanong po sila at humingi sila ng listahan ng kanilang kabayaran. At ang pagkakaalam ko po, by September 13 to 14, may plano silang pumunta rito para isettle muna po yung initial. And then meron pa pag-uusap. Pagdating po ng chairman within this week, ay pag-uusapan namin pinal yung karagdagang bills na dapat nilang bayaran.
Sige. So please inform the committee of the schedule if they've already complied with that or if there are any developments with regards to that. Before we go to airport modernization, anything else that we need to add here and cover? Okay. Go ahead, airport modernization. Let's begin by saying the following things, no? Yung capacity ng airport natin ay 31 million, at least yung NAIA, correct? Oo,
Tama po,
kasi
Madam Chair.
ito yung nakuha ko to kay Mr. Yap din sa Management Association of the Philippines. He has quite a good article also on this. So 31 million. Now, this is at 2017, nasa 42.5 na ang ating mga pasahero dito. And we are growing at around 6% per year. Ilang percent po?
Mga 3 to 4%.
3 to 4%. Okay. Now, another thing that was also mentioned is the utilization of the Subic Airport. Okay, when Senator Gordon mentioned this, they can already accommodate 747s. They can accommodate that, correct?
Currently, probably CAP can validate that.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Somebody from CAP. Oh, okay, later on. Let me just go through the facts here. So you have, okay, our Undersecretary of Aviation, sir.
Through the chairman. As far as the Subic Airport is concerned, CAEP is helping them out, bring the airport back to international standard. And in fact,
So it isn't yet.
Because there are some deficiencies yet as of now. The navigational aids will have to do flight checks. In fact, we had to, CAAP had to lend communication equipment as far as the tower is concerned.
So how can we rush that and make it compliant? What's the issue? Is it the availability of those equipment, or is it the money?
Through the chairman, we have a timeline already as far as Subic is concerned. We were made to understand that funding is not an issue.
Okay.
SBMA has the funds for it, and they showed us a list of equipments that they wanted to buy, and we went through it and told them what they needed immediately and what were not necessary to get Subic up to standard. So hopefully, based on our timetable, we're looking about first or second quarter of next year to get it back to international standards.
First or second quarter. Okay. I think the prime obviously what we need are the prime consideration of Clark and Subic is really the distance to the metro area. So the connecting modes of transportation, rail, etc., have to be simultaneous with the development of that. So going back to that, who will be able to answer the DOTR on the connectivity of Clark to Metro Manila?
Madam Chair, the connectivity of Clark to Manila will be created by what we call a rail system. This rail system will be from Tutuban to Malolos, Malolos to Angeles, Angeles inward to Clark Airport. The Malolos, Tutuban Malolos is expected to be bidded out already before the end of this year. It is targeted to be completed by in 2.5 to 3 years, the Malolos portion. The complete railway system, which is from Tutuban, Malolos, Malolos to Angeles, Angeles to the airport, will be completed by 2022. There is also a rail system that is connected, that will be connecting Clark and Subic. This is Cargoman, so that the advantage of Subic, which is the seaport, can be complemented by the advantage of airport in Clark. In that way, you enhance what we call a logistics hub, an economic zone that is predicated on logistics hub. Lahat po ito magkakatugma-tugma sa panahon ng ang termino, bago matapos ang termino ng ating Pangulo, in place ho yung improvement sa Clark at Clark Airport at in place na ho yung connectivity from Clark to Angeles to the Clark Airport. Meron ho kaming pinag-uusapan ng mga proponent na kung saan tinitignan ho namin yung bang tinatawag na partial operability. Kasi ho, ang target ho noon, bago magamit yung kabuuan, antayin matapos yung kabuuan. Ang tinitignan ho namin, kung pwede nang gamitin, halimbawa ho, kung matatapos yung Tutuban Malolos, huwag mo nang antayin matapos yung buong kabuuan, gamitin mo na muna yung portion ng Tutuban Malolos. So, we are also working on the basis of partial operability. Ito po yung relasyon ng RILES, sistemang RILES, na iugma namin sa airport improvement sa Clark.
Pero ibibid pa lang, ano? Pero at least meron ka naman timeline. Kaya lang po, siguro dumako tayo. May tatlo kasing bagay na kailangan para ang ating mga paliparan ay maging maayos. Una, binabanggit nga yung infrastruktura. Pangalawa, teknolohiya. Pangatlo, yung pagmamanage mismo. So pag sinabi natin infrastruktura, obviously kulang na kulang tayo ngayon dahil kailangan siguro tayo magpatayo pa ng mga bagong paliparan o magdagdag ng runway. Pero yung teknolohiya, yung CNS ATM system, yung mga radars na medyo dumadami na rin yung mga night rated natin dahil din sa inyong inisyatibo, pero kailangan pang dagdagan. Ngayon, dumako tayo siguro dito sa mga katanungan habang nandito si Secretary Dominguez, dahil Secretary Dominguez ay hinihila sa lahat ng mga iba't ibang mga pagpupulong. Ngayon na nandito siya sa atin, Secretary Dominguez, yung tanong natin, maraming mga usap-usapan sa pagkakaroon ng mga bagong airport. Halimbawa, yung isa doon, sa huli naming pagdinig, ang pinag-usapan ay yung proposal ng airport sa Bulacan. At no cost to the government, malaking bagay ito sapagkat sabi hanggang 4 na runway ang malalagay dyan. Meron ng expandable to 6 yata or 2 expandable to 4. Basta malaki. Magkakaroon ng loop in terms of connectivity ang transportation ng San Miguel. Again, at no cost to us. Pumasa na po sa NEDA. Pero ang pinakahuling update po ay dadaan pa rin po sa DOF. Ang huling basa ko ngayon na report, itong San Miguel Corporation ay nakikipag-usap na kasama ng mga magagaling na magbibigay ng advice. I think yung isa doon ay isang financial institution at ang isa naman ay sanay katulad ng Sumitomo. So, Secretary Dominguez, ano po ba yung dahilan kung bakit hindi pa rin nadidesisyonan ito sa inyong tanggapan?
Thank you for inviting us to today's Senate hearing, Your Honors, and for giving us an opportunity to answer your questions on the Department of Finance's involvement in the approval of the airport projects. For us, the message in the last hearing and today also is clear. The government should accelerate the approval and implementation of airport proposals to ensure that tourists and our kababayans do not suffer an incident similar to the Xiamen Air similar to the Xiamen Air mishap occur. On the call of this honorable committee for government to fast-track the implementation of airport proposals, we completely agree. We understand that as early as 2011, a JICA, Japan International Cooperation Agency report was already released discussing the problems of NAIA's capacity, which incidentally was not acted upon by the past administration. One of the first acts of this administration was to begin the rehabilitation of the Clark International Airport to partially address the NAIA capacity problem. We were the first ones to take action. However, we cannot simply wave the magic wand and fix the problem overnight. This is why we at the DOF were puzzled when we heard that we were being invited today by the Honorable Chairperson to this committee to a hearing on the modernization and expansion of airports. In the last meeting, it was stated that the DOF needs to answer why they are hampering or delaying the approval of these projects. Before we share this with the committee, our role in the approval of the airport projects, let us first go back to the time the Bulacan International Airport proposal was presented. In a meeting in January 2018, the following questions came to our mind. First, how will the Bulacan Airport affect the Clark International Airport, given the government's investment in Clark? Your Honors, all airport projects are real estate projects. The real estate value of the new Clark City is currently 14 billion US dollars. And government has committed an additional 12 billion pesos. We wanted to know how the Bulacan Airport, which is just 25 kilometers away from Clark, will affect the value of the new Clark City, which is, by the way, the property of the Filipino people. Second, how will the Bulacan International Airport affect the traffic in the area? Do we need additional lanes in the North Luzon Expressway to be constructed? Do we need to change the alignment of the proposed rail system to Clark? Third, who is the proponent and what is its actual financial capability? We wanted to know whether the proponent, San Miguel Holdings Corporation, actually had the financial capacity to undertake the project. Initially, the Department of Transportation reported that San Miguel Holdings had a total equity of 60 billion pesos in 2016. Considering the usual financial mix of 70-30, 70% debt and 30% equity in a PPP project, the construction of the Bulacan Airport will require San Miguel Holdings to infuse around 200 billion pesos in equity, which we are not sure is going to happen. In order to answer these questions, among others, a second meeting was required. In April of 2018, the project was approved by the NEDA board. As a condition for the approval, we were required to submit our inputs. Even though we thought it was not proper for us to submit our comments, as the implementing rules and regulations of Republic Act number 6957 or the BOT law provides that the DOF shall review the draft contract once negotiations are completed. Nevertheless, we compiled the issues discussed at the NEDA, ICC, and board meetings. Contrary to statements made in the last hearing, we guarantee that there were no new comments added that were not already discussed before the NEDA board approval. We take this opportunity to categorically say we have not caused the delay in the Bulacan Airport. As a matter of fact, we are even providing assistance to accelerate the approval and implementation of the project. One of the helpful suggestions we made to the DOTR was to require the execution of a joint and several liability agreement which would make San Miguel Corporation, the parent company, stand behind San Miguel Holdings, the private proponent, which is financially at this point incapable of undertaking a 700 billion peso project. However, in page 5, item P of the draft minutes of the meeting as of April 25, 2018, 6th NEDA board meeting, a representative from the Office of the President stated that, I quote, the financial capacity of the proponent corporation should be the one evaluated and not the financial capacity of the mother company backing the proponent corporation, unquote. That's not my comment, ma'am. That is somebody else's. As regards the DOF's role in the approval process of airport projects, Book 4, Title 2, Chapter 1, Section 1 of Executive Order Number U292, Series of 1987, or the Administrative Code, provides that the mandate of our department is to ensure the sound and efficient management of financial resources of the government. It is my responsibility to not only to look after all government assets, but also to manage our contingent liability, which, for the information of this body, is estimated now to be at least 309 billion pesos as of 2018 for PPP projects. Meticulous evaluation is necessary since in several instances, projects were approved in the past by the NEDA board, which were more profitable than projections during the appraisal stage. Let me give a concrete example. The Mactan Cebu International Airport is actually earning more profits than projected. In 2017, it registered a net income of 1.1 billion pesos. This is 48% higher than the 752 billion pesos forecasted in the financial model of the project. This indicates that the actual returns of the concessionaire would be significantly larger than what was originally estimated. And yet, government still made the commitment that there will be no other competing airports in Mactan and Cebu. Now, should the government later on want to build a new airport in the area to serve OFWs and other tourists, we would be required to reimburse not just market value of the infrastructure assets, but also all the future profits of the commercial business until the end of the concession. This means that we would have to reimburse the concessionaire in Mactan around 20 billion pesos just to build another airport. While 309 billion pesos is an alarming number, what is more worrying to us are the type of commitments we guarantee. Let me give you another example. There are potential claims by water concessionaires against the government estimated at 80 billion pesos just because the performance undertaken, which was executed by a former DOF secretary, guaranteeing that the government will not interfere or question water utility rates. Moreover, as I mentioned in the Mactan Cebu International Airport Concession Agreement, the government committed that if it causes to operate any international or domestic airport in the Mactan and Cebu Islands, it is considered the grantor in default, that's the government, making us liable for termination payments. Essentially, it will cost us a tremendous amount of money to build a new airport in these areas, even if there is an unexpected increase in passenger demand. Your Honors, these examples emphasize that the actions we do and the documents we sign have ripple effects on the next generations. The burden is upon my office to ensure that future generations do not suffer consequences from poor decisions of previous government. As Book 4, Title 2, Chapter 1, Section 2 of the Administrative Code, and as reiterated in the Department of Justice Opinion Number 61, Series of 2004, and 13 Series of 2013 states, that the issuance of performance undertaking is within the discretionary power of the DOF, it being mandated by law to be primarily responsible for, quote, the sound and efficient management of the financial resources of the government, its subdivisions, agencies, and instrumentalities, unquote, and, quote, for the formulation, institutionalization, and administration of fiscal policies in coordination with other concerned subdivisions, agencies, and instrumentalities of the government, unquote. Let me ask you a question. Why don't we compare a farmer with a company investing in an airport? A farmer has no access to financing. He doesn't even own the land. In fact, he is the one who needs the subsidy or government guarantee. But these corporations who are making tremendous profit with access to banks require a guarantee even if it is their own fault that an airport is not operational. These government guarantees for force majeure and material adverse government actions can make a project bankable, but it will not turn a bad project into a good one. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Dominguez, for your inputs and clarification on the issues. I have a few questions also, but I would like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, who filed also a resolution on the possible expansion and modernization of our airports. So, Secretary Dominguez, very quickly, for the record, you said that it's not the Department of Finance that is actually delaying the approval of the possible Bulacan Airport, but you are a member of the NEDA board, am I correct? So, as part of the NEDA board, one of the members, were you one of the ones that agreed to approve this project, or did you not vote for this project?
As chairman of the ICC first, the members of the ICC did vote for the project, and the NEDA board also did vote to approve the project.
So
And I
you're
stand
part of
by
the
that
ones that
vote.
voted to approve. It has to be unanimous, am I correct?
I believe so.
So what made you approve it with all the other questions you still have in mind? You mentioned earlier, you were saying something like you had to assess the impact on your investment, of the government's investment in Clark, which is about 14 billion, etc. You also had your concerns about the possible construction of roads and how it will impact traffic. And you also had your questions about the financial viability of the investor. So with these questions, going into the vote in the NEDA board, do you still actually approve this project? Or do you already have those questions answered? That's why you approved it.
May I ask the NEDA board secretariat to quote the approval? Because I don't have it with me. The written approval, because I don't have it with me.
Because okay, before you read the actual quote, my question is this: can the NEDA board approve something but with conditions that they need to fulfill?
She'll have to read
Okay,
it, ma'am.
please go ahead and read that, and please identify yourself again, ma'am.
Yes, good afternoon, Madam Chair. I am Hazel Balyatan. I am the Director of the Public Investment Staff of NEDA, and I am also the head of the ICC Core Secretariat.
Okay, please go ahead and read it.
Okay. So, in our letter dated May 2, 2018 to Secretary Tugade of the DOTR, we informed that during the meeting of the on April 25, 2018 of the NEDA Board, the NEDA Board approved the unsolicited proposal for the Bulacan International Airport, as well as the reasonable rate of return, after-tax weighted average cost of capital as basis for negotiation by the DOTR with the proponent. The approval is subject to the finalization of the risk allocation matrix and the draft concession agreement, consistent with the ICC discussions and with inputs from the Department of Finance. So the project was approved with a total project cost of about 700 billion. And it is understood that the total project cost will be borne by the proponent and with no cost requirement from the government. So that is what is written, Madam Chair, in our letter.
So no wonder you really have they really have to provide their documentation on financial viability. As you were saying, you had your doubts about this, right? Because the mother company is not necessarily liable for this. You mentioned something to that effect.
When it was first submitted,
Yes.
it was submitted under the San Miguel Holdings. Okay? So I asked them, can you please tell me what is San Miguel Holdings? Because that is the proponent.
Okay.
And they said the equity at a certain point in time was 60 billion, etc. I said, how can a 60 billion peso company finance a 700 billion peso project? So I said, why don't you ask the major company of the San Miguel Group to guarantee it, to be a joint and several proponent for this?
What's the
and as of
equity of
today,
the-
yes, there is no such undertaking yet.
But San Miguel, the mother company, has an equity of, are you familiar with it?
I assume that it is sufficient, ma'am.
Okay. But you also mentioned, if I heard you right, somebody from Malacanang said that the mother company is not the one being evaluated, but the actual proponent. So the basis should be the equity of the proponent and not the mother company. Is that?
Yes, ma'am. May I ask the lady to quote again the draft minutes of the April 25 board meeting?
Okay. While you are looking for that, my question would be this. You were mentioning about the government's investment of 14 billion in Clark with an additional so many billions more, and the impact this might have, the Bulacan Airport might have on Clark. So what are your findings? Are you already done with that? Will it actually negatively affect the Clark development? Is this something that would...
The concern here, ma'am, is quite simple. We own about 30 or 35,000 hectares in Clark. That is owned by the Filipino nation. Okay? As Secretary of Finance, my job is to make sure that that there are optimal returns on government assets. So, if somebody is going to put an airport that is near 25 kilometers, it is natural for us to see how will that affect our own investment. We are investing around 12 billion pesos right now in the Clark Airport, not including the inherent value of the real estate that we own already in that area. In other words, we would like the Clark area to be able to lease out its land to companies because there is an airport close by. So I wanted to know how will an airport 25 kilometers away affect the value of that property?
This airport is 25 kilometers away?
That's what I believe, isn't it? Huh?
No.
Huh? Sorry, 65. 65.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? You have... you're right. Your mandate, sir, is actually to make sure that government projects are financially viable and that we make some money out of it for the Filipino people. But the mandate of Secretary Togada is different in a way, because his is more of transportation, connectivity. So my question now is this, Secretary Togada. With the recommendation of Secretary Dominguez being concerned about Clark and the investment there, do you still think that in spite of this, we need that airport in Bulacan?
Number one, ma'am, let me put my answer in perspective. The approval was read, and it said subject to risk allocation matrix and other financial documentation. Risk allocation matrix. This has to be addressed. We cannot at this time say yes or no because this is being evaluated at this time. And if only to give or update this committee on what is happening, last Thursday, there was a joint meeting between the DOTR, NEDA, and DOF with the proponent, precisely to address the definition of risk allocation matrix, including the conditionalities of joint and solidary signatures and commitment, including the agreements on when and how and targets. This meeting was done only last Thursday.
Sir, teka muna, ganito na lang Huwag niyo muna isipin yung financial viability ng Clark. Iba muna yon. Ang isipin mo muna yung pangangailangan pagdating sa mga paliparan. At yung lapit nito sa city center, sa Metro Manila. Kung kayo lang, hindi nyo iniisip na meron tayong investment sa Clark, kailangan ba natin itong isa pang airport na to?
Oo, kasi naninindigan ho ako sa sinasabi kong the more the merrier. Merong maraming paliparan is better for the public. Yun ho yung konseptong aking tinatahak at tinutupad.
Tama po, and I appreciate your honesty here. Kasi actually, our secretaries, Clark has much to offer, not just the airport. I mean, the space itself, the expanse of it, maybe the trade zones there. So it's not just the airport, but the immediate need of more runways that are closer to Metro Manila is definitely obvious even as of now. So, from what I hear from the finance secretary, you're still assessing the risks involved for Clark. So are we saying that because of the 14 billion investment in Clark, this might stop future investments of an airport that is closer to Metro Manila? Because 14 billion, this is dollars, I suppose, no? $14 billion for Clark development, sir?
I beg your pardon, ma'am?
The investment in Clark is $14 billion, you were saying?
No, the current value
is 14
of
billion.
Clark is around $14 billion.
But how much are we losing because every year, because of airport congestion? Malaki rin po yan, di ba? Malaki rin yung ating investment. Anyway, it just seems to me that considering the investment in Clark alone as something that will determine whether or not we should have another airport might be a little limiting. But of course, that's why we have this hearing here, so that we can we actually understand what's going on in our secretary's mind.
May I just add, ma'am, that when you are going to evaluate an airport, you have to figure out what it's going to cost us, the national government. Number one, obviously, if it's going to negatively impact the value of our property, that's a cost. Number two, if it's going to require, because there's going to be a lot more passengers there, if it's going to require an upgrading of our transportation along the NLEX, then it's another cost. If we're going to have to put another highway along the coast, that's another cost. So we want to see the entire cost of the project, both what we put out and what this airport will take away from the property that we already own. So those are the costs that I think it has to be evaluated, or else we'll not be doing our job.
Right, especially for the DOF, that's your mandate, to make sure that there's a return on investment that's good for the government. But how soon would you be able to come up with your decision for this and your recommendation? Kailan po? Kasi sabi ni Secretary Tugate, by the end of the year, parang something like that in our last hearing.
Madam Chair, can I speak?
Yes, DOT, you said.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. The issue on Clark and Bulacan coexisting has been thoroughly analyzed by the OTR. As a matter of fact, even if the ongoing improvements in Clark is completed, it will only serve additional about 8 million passengers. The unconstrained demand for Metro Manila, Madam Chair, in terms of air traffic is already 65 million. Which means kung walang constraints yung NAIA, we should be doing 65 million by 2017. Now, we're doing to 42 million. And we all know it's already congested. Tanggalin mo na yung 8 million plus 4 million ng Clark, that's only 12 million. So, ang laki, hindi ka pa rin naabot ng 65. Now, in terms of additional public infrastructure, the proponent, San Miguel, proposed to construct a toll facility that will connect the new airport to the existing North Luzon Expressway. We undertook some traffic and demand analysis, and we believe the new toll facility that will be constructed by San Miguel initially 6 lanes, expandable to 8 lanes, about 8 kilometers from Bulacan Airport that will connect to the Marilao Junction of the North Luzon Expressway would be more than sufficient to serve the volume of traffic envisioned in the new Bulacan Airport.
So, sinasabi po ninyo, actually, yung pag-aaral ng San Miguel, kasama dyan yung mga karsada that will lead to the airport. Dadagdagan nila ng lane.
Nirequire po ng ICC yun. And tama lang po rationally so, because
So,
how do you
sang-ayon po
bring
kayo?
in the traffic from Metro Manila, which is mostly the origin and destination of the bulk of the traffic, to the New Bulacan Airport? Kaya ho, ni-require ho ng ICC na aralin yan. At ginawan ho naman ng pag-aaral yan.
So, nasumitin na ninyo yan sa DOF?
Na-submit na po namin yan. May traffic analysis, which is analyzing the modal split, ilan yung dadaan sa public roads, ilan yung mag-expressway, and that includes yung mga well-wishers, and then yung mga empleyado. Pinag-aralan ho yun, yung in and out of the Bulacan
Mga
Airport.
maghahatid. O, siyempre, kasama sa kultura natin yun.
Tama ho yun.
Pero, USAC Reyno, saan po kayo? USAC kayo ng
Planning po, planning.
Planning, okay. So, sa inyo po, personal ninyong nire-recommenda to, sa tingin niyo makakabuti. Kasi tama yung sinabi ninyo, kahit na fully utilized ang Clark, maayos, makakabawas lang yan ng mga 8 million passengers, di ba?
Mga maximum 12, sir. Ma'am.
Maximum 12.
Kasi there is an existing terminal now, about 3.5 million na passenger capacity. So yung expansion po, mga 8 million. So mga 11 or 12
So may kulang pa talaga tayo na ilan, di ba?
Well, malaki talaga yung kakulangan, Madam Chair. As I said, yung unconstrained demand, kung wala lang sanang constraint yung ating Manila International Airport, yung NAIA, yung pag-aaral ho ng 2011 na binanggit po ni Secretary Dominguez, dapat ho meron na tayong kinukuhang 65 million sa region pa lang po yun. Pero because of the constraint, congested na tayo at 42 million in NAIA. And Clark is picking up already, almost 2 million, 2.5 million na po yung Clark, from a very low, less than a million about a few years back.
So, 65 million yung ating congestion ngayon. Ay,
Hindi. Yun po dapat ang traffic na nakukuha ng Manila,
Traffic natin.
kung
So,
wala akong constraint. Yung po
So-
yung sinasabi ko na walang constraint. Ibig sabihin, kung kaya sana nung capacity natin yung 65 million, meron dapat na tayo nakuhang merkado. Na
kaso, ang
65 million passengers per annum, both international and domestic.
So parang kulang tayo, yung madadagdag lang sa Clark is about 8 million.
Yun po idadagdag ng Clark.
Oh, so 23 million na yung parang kulang natin. So talagang kailangan natin ng isa pa. Meron din isang iniisip na doon naman sa Sangli. Pero ano ba sa inyo, Secretary Tugade? Ano bang, para sa akin, parang mas detalyado at maayos itong proposal na sa Bulacan. Pero ano naman itong sa Sangli? Sino naman ang proponent dito?
Nabanggit ko na po nung nakarang meeting, meron hong government, tinatawag na government to government proposal ang province of Cavite sa DOTR na kung saan gusto nilang i-rehabilitate at i-improve yung Sangli. Wala pa hong detalye dyan na pagkakasunduan. Pag-uusap pa lang yan. Importante hong magkaroon ng usapan yung government to government kasi ho, sa ating panukala, prioridad ho yung may government to government.
Okay. Pero so sa ganito, just to make things clear, na-submit na ninyo sa DOF yung findings ninyo doon sa pag-aaral ninyo ng capacity ng airport, kung anong kailangan natin, yung mga connectivity sa kalsada. Am I correct, Mr. Reynoso?
Sa ICC po. Sa ICC. Hindi po sa DOF. Sa Investment Coordination Committee po of the NEDA Board.
Okay, so ICC, you've received their recommendation?
Yes, Madam Chair. In fact, this information was submitted when we were discussing the Bulacan International.
Okay, so Secretary Dominguez, I'm sure you're swamped with a lot of other things, but more or less, when would you be able to come up with your recommendation?
Ma'am, by law, I have to come up with the recommendation after the negotiations. That is the requirement of law.
So you have to negotiate first. Who will negotiate? DOTR will have
Yes,
to
ma'am.
negotiate with
Yes,
San
ma'am.
Miguel Holdings.
Yes. We are not part of the negotiating team because it's not correct. We are going to be the ones to review the entire proposal at the end of their negotiation. So it's not right that we are also part of the negotiating team.
Okay, but sir, here's the thing. Is part of the negotiation is how they're going to say how they're not going to negatively impact the value of our investment in Clark?
They already have all the NEDA comments, which incidentally, even though it's not required of us, we actually summarized it for the benefit of the DOTR. We summarized all the discussions in the NEDA board and all the comments and all the minutes. So they have those are their guidelines.
Okay, so can I ask you what weighs heavily on you, sir? Our
beg your pardon?
What is of paramount concern for you? Our investment in Clark or the need to expand our airport?
The contingent, the final cost of the airport, including our contingent liabilities, will be what will weigh heavily on us. The final cost to us. Ma'am, there is no such thing as free.
I understand. No free lunch.
When
Okay.
they say, oh, no cost to the government, ma'am, that is not true. That is simply not true. As I mentioned in the other PPP agreements, we have contingent liabilities there. So our role is to make sure, number one, that the contingent liabilities are manageable, that they are reasonable, and that at no point is there going to be a moral hazard that
absolutely
that the proponent one day will just say, "Oh, I quit anyway. I'm going to get paid."
Yeah, I mean,
and there is no breach of that principle that nobody enriches himself in a contract.
Well,
So-
I respect that, and
Yes.
I'm reassured that that's your mindset. Definitely, the previous contracts government has entered into, like the MRT situation, we're on a bind because of that. So I appreciate that you're doing that, sir. Thank you. But there are also added benefits to the government. For example, we may be spending a little here, but the return, more tourists would want to come here because of the convenience. Real estate around Bulacan, if developed properly and zoning is followed, will actually increase. So there's the added value also of that particular investment. Secretary, to that.
Well said, ma'am. In fact, alisin ko lang ho yung perception na yung posisyon ng Department of Finance is exclusive sa position or contradictory to our position. That's why we are having this meeting for one in this committee hearing, and we will be meeting, and we are already meeting with the proponent, with the Department of Finance, so that the balancing and reconciling points will have to be met and recognized.
Sir, but how will you reconcile this, Secretary Dominguez? Because you were saying that the proponent is the one that will be evaluated, and as you were saying, their equity might not be enough for the 700 billion investment. Isn't that your pronouncement saying this? Isn't that already a huge factor that your decision might be to the negative?
No, ma'am. I even suggested what they can do. I suggested that they come into the major corporation come into a
guarantee,
joint and several liability. I suggested that.
Okay, so who's against it? Were you going to read? I think initially somebody from Malacanang you still didn't find it. Okay. No, thank you. I mean, Secretary Dominguez, I can totally, as I was saying, I am reassured that also that's your mindset. Ayaw natin niloloko talaga tayo ng maski na sino at yayaman sa paghihirap ng ating mga kababayan. Pero sa nakikita naman natin, basta merong reputasyon at maayos nga yung kontrata, kung babantayan naman ninyo, sa tingin ko, magiging okay. Dapat talaga stricto rin eh. I can see how it is. Kaya lang, yung time frame din natin, iniisip din namin na sana nga matapos na ito maaprubahan, or kung hindi maaprubahan, ay makahanap ka agad ng ibang
Yeah,
mabilis
there's
na
a deadline in the negotiations, ma'am. I think it's 80 days. And then they have to do a Swiss challenge.
Okay.
Right.
So did you find it, ma'am? Yes, Madam Chair. With regard to the earlier statement that there's an person from OP, so in our minutes, Deputy Executive Secretary Michael Ong, stated that in the Swiss challenge, the financial capacity of the proponent corporation should be the one evaluated and not the financial capacity of the mother company backing these corporations.
Okay, Secretary Ong is with
He's the Deputy Executive Secretary
for
of the OP.
Of the OP. So there's a way around this, Secretary Dominguez, you were saying?
I suggested something, but to this date, I don't know, in fact, if that undertaking has been submitted.
Oo.
Yeah.
Mr. Reynoso,
Yeah.
you said.
Yeah, ma'am, just to give you an update, we conveyed that to the proponent, that the parent company must undertake a joint and several liability agreement with the proponent corporation, San Miguel Holdings. And they agreed.
They agreed.
But prior to that, there were certain issues, major issues that they need to be cleared upon. That's why we called that meeting last Thursday, Madam Chair, and we're glad to report that we have almost agreed in principle on these major issues. And the proponents, San Miguel Holdings and San Miguel Corporation, committed to submit the revised draft concession agreement by Friday of this week, after which we will convene again the week after to discuss the new submissions, and hopefully, as the chair and the members of the committee wish, we will accelerate the conclusion of the process. As a matter of fact, simultaneously with this, Madam Chair, members of the committee, we are already preparing the terms of reference and the tender documents for the Swiss challenge.
Okay, so ganito yun, di ba sabi ni Secretary Dominguez, yes, 80 days, tapos magsi-Swiss challenge. So, kailan matatapos to, yung final decision ninyo?
As soon as we receive the revised concession agreement by Friday, Madam Chair, as I said, we will convene the week after, and we hope we will be able to complete the entire process before the year ends. I mean, at least we can advertise for the Swiss
that includes
challenge.
already the timeline of the DOF? Kasi di ba dapat hinihintay pa ninyo yung, hindi naman kailangan hintayan.
Ang proseso po, ma'am, we intend to conclude the negotiations, the basic negotiation. Ang negotiations po kasi hindi lang
and then they will evaluate it.
Yes, that's right. Because we have
And then
to
they have
submit,
80 days.
we have to issue first a certificate of successful negotiation to be signed by the proponent the proponent corporation and the DOTR, and then submit it to the NEDA for review, final review, before we even publish the invitation for the Swiss challenge, Madam Chair.
Okay, so you're saying, but at the end of the year, you're done, and then that's when you're going to be looking at their findings for your comments. Is that correct, Secretary Dominguez?
Well, they can finish it as soon as they can. I don't think it should take until the end of the year. I think that is what is the prescription of the law. But they can finish it sooner.
So, can you finish it sooner?
What we are saying at this time, Madam Chairman, is we'll finish the entire process, including the Swiss challenge. This is the target and the timeline which we have set to ourselves before the end of this year. And already there are indications that the agreement can be accelerated because of certain agreement in principle on some major issue, one of which is the joint and solidary agreements of the parent company.
So, including the Swiss challenge by the end of this year?
Yes, ma'am.
And then,
Ayun
after that, what's the next step?
Pag nanalo ho yung proponent, di mag-start na ho sila ng construction.
Ganon. So, ganon kabilis.
Yung review ho ng DOF is before the Swiss challenge.
Is correct. Okay, thank you for clarifying. So, yes.
Ang proseso po, ma'am, pag may challenger po, titignan namin yung offer ng challenger. If the proposed challenge proposal is better than the original proponent, we will have to go back to the proponent.
Ano ba yan? Close bidding yan, di ba?
Open po to, open.
Open na.
Open po
So,
to. We will advertise anybody who wanted to challenge the unsolicited proposal is welcome to submit a counter proposal, but based on the same terms and parameters, Kung wala pong nag-submit, walang sumali, we will just issue the notice of award and then sign the necessary documentations for the issuance of the notice to proceed. And for the proponent to immediately comply with the terms of the financial clause and submit to government the terms of the agreement.
Yung Secretarynoso, busy kasi si Secretary Tugade. Bigay mo na lang sa akin, sa amin dito, yung timeline ninyo, ha? with
do
the
that,
approval,
Madam
of
Chair.
course, of the Secretary. But the Vice Chair now will continue
Yes,
his
Madam Chair.
questioning.
Are we made to understand na siguro kasi marami tayong options pa, no, Sec Tugade. As you mentioned, the more the merrier para kung ano mauna. Pero sa ngayon, at least yung short term, improvement of the NAIA, whatever we have, di ba? And then the medium term, Clark is already in process, no, in construction of that new terminal. So doon po sa long term, so among the three options that we still have, no, yung Sangli, NAIA expansion, yung second runway, which is medyo matagal-tagal. So yung pong sa San Miguel na Bulacan, are we made the one, parang in our understanding sa sinasabi po ni Yusek Ruben Reynoso, is this the most viable right now? Kasi Yusek Ruben, doon po sa tatlong long term, no? Yung medium term, yung Clark, andyan na po yun. It's already underway, no? Yung pong medium term solution natin for NAIA airport. So ano po, yung tong Bulacan, by San Miguel, among the three options, sa tingin nyo, ito na po yung pinaka-viable.
Tama po yun, Mr. Chair. Advance na po itong Bulacan because most of the documentations have been complied with. The approval process, most of the requirements for the approval process have been concluded. And we're now in the process of the calling for comparable proposals.
So among the three, yung Sangli na proposal, medyo wala pa dahil
Yeah,
ito government to
that's
government.
correct, Madam.
Itong NAIA second runway, wala pa rin yung pag-expropriate ng Merville.
Wala hong NAIA second runway.
Wala na po yan.
Ang meron ho, NAIA Rehabilitation and Improvement, which the consortium of 7 has made an unsolicited proposal. Having said that, ang target din ho namin matapos yung Swiss Challenge sa NAIA is by the end of this year.
I'm very glad to hear that, no, from Secretary Tugade and with the presence of our DOF Secretary as well, because this has been long overdue. Ang siguro, Tugade, siguro we decide hopefully this year talagang kung saan na talagang direction natin. I would say that what really happened, everybody agrees, it's an eye-opener that indeed NAIA's overcapacity will remain a problem and we really have to move. So at least we already can see that meron na tayong direction. At yung sa sinabi nga ni Yusek Reynoso, at least yung itong isang option na long term, yung Bulacan, is already moving. Tama ba? Ito lang ang gumagalaw among the other options. Yusek Reynoso, ito lang yung
tama po.
Between yung Bulacan ho saka Sangli, yung Bulacan ho yung gumagalaw.
Well, that's very good news indeed to hear. As I mentioned the last hearing, we are probably now 25, 30 years behind, so we have a lot of catching up to do. So naalala ko, nabanggit ko 1998 when panahon pa ni President Erap 20 years ago, that was already, Clark was already being mentioned as the secondary airport, no, to NAIA, to have a twin airport system. Ngayon po 2018 na, 2 administrations has passed and nothing has happened. So I'm hoping that we do not suffer from the same analysis paralysis. Sa dami ng options, sa dami ng mga pinag-uusapan, wala akong natuloy. But I'm glad that to hear from Secretary Tugade, Secretary Dominguez, and Yusek Reynoso that it is moving already, yung third option. Hindi lang yung Clark, no, being the secondary airport na NAIA, but the long term, which is the Bulacan option, is already moving.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kay Yusek Reynoso, Yusek, I understand that the current roadmap for the Metro Manila airports will be a 4-airport strategy. Tama mo ba, Yusek? We're looking at operating 4 airports for Metro Manila. Well, Metro Manila and the vicinity of Metro Manila.
Hindi po yan yung nakalagay doon sa... Yeah. Hindi naman po yun na nakalagay doon sa Greater Capital Region na airport strategy. Now, ang sinasabi lang po namin, they can be, they are not mutually exclusive. No? They can operate simultaneously. And that's what Secretary Tugade has said. we wanted to give the commuters more options, no, on where to travel and how to travel. Hindi naman magsasabay-sabay po yan, eh, no? Yung NAIA improvement, no, that can be done in 2 to 4 years, no? And then yung pong yung commitment po nung Bulacan Airport proponent, as soon as they receive the notice to proceed, they can get 2 runways immediately in 3 to 4 years. So yung Clark po na improvement ngayon ng terminal and then the subsequent privatization of the operation and maintenance, we hope to get that on board by 2020 kasi yun yung scheduled na completion po ng new terminal ng Clark. So sequential po yan. And as the traffic grows, no, we will be able to accommodate the increasing demand for the greater capital region for air traffic.
So at one point ho, magtatagpo-tagpo lahat ho yan eh. Correct? I mean, matatapos ho lahat yan at one point. No, all of these 4 airports being envisioned.
Totoo po yun.
What will be the capacity of those 4 airports?
Assuming NAIA is not closed, okay, the capacity that was committed by the proponent of the NAIA improvement is about maximum 65 million. The capacity of the Bulacan Airport is 100 million. Clark right now is 12 million. The initial capacity for the new Sangli International Airport is about 70 million.
So ilan ho lahat yun?
100 plus 6 220, mga around 250 million, Mr. Chair.
Sir.
Kailan ho, anong taon magtatagpo-tagpo lahat yun?
Kung matapos ho lahat, per commitment, nag-uusap po tayo mga 2017. Sabihin ko lang ho, kung nakumpleto na yung 4 na airport, andyan ang Clark, andyan ang Subic, andyan yung Bulacan, andyan yung NAIA. Pag nangyari ho yan, we'll be in a better position to determine formally the relevance of NAIA. Will it continue to be an airport or will it become a real estate play? Mahirap hong desisyonan ngayon yan sa NAIA kung wala pa ho yung mga airport kagaya ng Bulacan saka Sangli. I have to underscore at this time, Sir, Your Honor, na pag natapos ho lahat yan, baka yung NAIA ho, isatabi as a real estate, hindi na ho airport or a primary gateway. Kasi nandiyan na ho yung Sangli, nandiyan na po yung Clark at nandiyan yung Bulacan.
Yusa, kailan ho dadating tong, kailan po magtatagpo tong 4 airports? What year?
Yung Clark nga po, 2020 yung scheduled completion niyan. Yung sa Bulacan po, kung mabigay yung notice to proceed, 2023 or 2024 operational yan. Yung sa Sangli po, medyo yun ang sinasabi namin sa inyo na hindi pa po masyadong because wala pang sinasabit na detalye yung provincial government of Cavite, which is actually the proponent for the Sangli International Airport. Yung NAIA po, yung first stage ng kanilang development will be completed in 2 years, which means if they are issued the notice to proceed by 2019, 2021 from the existing capacity of 31.5, may increase nila into about 48 million. And then 2 years thereafter, they will increase the NAIA capacity from 48 million to 65 million.
So tama ba, by 2022, lahat to mag-ooperate na?
Except yung Bulacan po will take at least 4 years eh. Kasi greenfield yan.
When is that? Mga 2024?
Mga 2024, sir, yung commitment nung that the new airport will become operational.
Sir, I think this committee will also request the timelines that you mentioned. Just for the record, yung mga sinasabi mong completion 2024, if all goes well, matatapos yung sa Bulacan. Senator Gatchalian, in line with your questioning, because Secretary Tugade mentioned earlier that the viability of NAIA Airport might not necessarily be needed might not anymore be so if we have these other airports, correct?
Ma'am, ang sinabi ko, the evaluation of the viability of NAIA as an airport. The decision process becomes more fluid and flexible pag nandiyan na yung tatlong airport.
But in the meantime, there is that proposal for a mega consortium to rehabilitate NAIA.
Itutuloy ho natin yon. Kasi
Itutuloy
yung
pa rin.
kontrata ho dyan is 15 years.
15 years. So,
At matatapos ho nila yung pagkabuuan 2 to 4 years. Yun ho yun.
So kasi ganito, syempre, kung ako'y mamumuhunan, sa bagay 15 years naman, so they have to be able to recoup within that 15 years, and the passengers should be able to feel relief within 2 years or 3 years when they finish the rehabilitation. My question now is this: namili na ba kayo? Pinili na ninyo yung mega consortium? Kasi ang alam ko, pumapasok rin yung GMR Megawide dyan, di ba?
Nabigyan na po ng original proponent status ng DOTR at ng MIA yung Consortium of 7 para pag-usapan na at i-finalize yung concession agreement and terms of preference dun sa rehabilitation ng MIA.
So kung sila na yung main proponent, anong ibig sabihin nun? Hindi pa rin yan garantiya na sila ang makakakuha?
Hindi, sila na po yung kausap namin, original proponent status. Pag nag-agree ho sa terms of preference sa concession agreement, then papasok na naman ho yung Swiss Challenge. Sila po yung kausap.
Kailan matatapos po lahat
Ang
yun?
target po namin, kagaya nga ng sinabi ko, matapos din ito before the end of the year.
So puro the end of this year?
Yes, ma'am.
Yung sa Clark ngayon, ang nag-rehabilitate ba nun, Megawide na?
Yung terminal ho is mega-wide. Ang target po namin matapos yan is 2020 June.
Basta lahat niyang mga dates na yan, kasi lahat na, marami na tayong mga pangakong, or at least will endeavor to fulfill the deadlines. So most of them by this year. I'd like to hear from the representative of the consortium, what you can promise the public with this particular project of yours to rehabilitate NAIA. Anong magiging benepisyo nito para sa ating mga pasahero?
Salamat po, Madam Chair. On behalf of the NAIA Consortium, we can promise much improved and world-class gateway for Manila. As mentioned by the Secretary Tugade and Yusek Reynosa, our plan really is to build up to a capacity of 47 million after 2 years, and 2 years after that, 265 million. We plan to really make NAIA a world-class gateway that all Filipinos can be proud of.
Saying 65 million passengers? Ano
Yes,
to?
ma'am. 65 million passengers per year.
Paano
after
nyo
4
magagawa
years.
yun? Kasi, di ba, there is the infrastructure, there's the technology, and there's the administration. These are three things I think MAP mentioned for the success of running an airport. So, you will come in all three aspects, meaning you will add infrastructure. How will you improve on technology?
Madam Chair, we plan to put in all the newest available technologies.
Like what?
In NAIA. We are studying the use of an improved ILS system, for example, to support CAAP in their air navigation.
But they have that already now, right?
Ma'am, they have the CNS ATM for arrivals.
But the ILS is
No,
for...
hindi po, ma'am. So the ILS is for landing.
Landing.
We are looking at this system called GBAS, which will enable more flexible landing. But these are for the newer aircraft. What we are also looking at is ground control radar, so that for all the airplanes that are on the ground, there will be also radar for all of that activity on the ground. It will help with on-time arrivals and departures at the gates themselves.
Okay.
In addition, we plan to put in we plan to upgrade the baggage handling systems. Typically, baggage handling systems are more computerized these days, so we plan to put more of that in. In addition, we plan to reorganize and change the flow of passenger traffic within the terminals. And then on top of that, we plan to almost double the gross floor area of NAIA to accommodate all the passengers.
So, GM Monreal, are you in agreement with them? I mean, you will allow them to be able to design this way of running the airport?
Well, if they're granted the project and the concession, we'll see how they will implement those projects.
Okay, but who is your technical advisor on this? Because I think for certain projects they hire, let's say GMR. I know that they hired MITRE to do the study. How about in your case?
Ma'am, right now we are working with Changi Airports International.
So Changi is the one
Yes,
giving
ma'am,
you
that's
the
correct.
technical advice.
They're the operator of the best airport in the world, ma'am. So we plan to bring in that expertise.
Well, that's reassuring. Can you submit to us if you have a one-pager on what you hope to do for the airport?
Yes, ma'am, we can
Okay.
certainly submit that to this committee.
Because I think the public ought to know about this. And you said that this will be finished infrastructure-wise also within 2 to 3 years, correct?
The first phase, ma'am, is to 47 million. That's in 2 years. And then after 2 years after that, up to 65 million.
Okay. Thanks. Senator Gatchalian, thank you.
Madam Chair, I just want to continue lang with Yusek Resencio. Kanina nasabi niyo po 257 million passenger capacity na by at some point, which is 2024. And that means kung ang present ang present constrained, tawag niyo constrained demand is 65. In effect, we need to at least grow that by close to 4 to 5 times in the next 6 to 7 years. Meron ba ganung karaming pasahero ho tayo by 2024?
Hindi po. Ang sinabi ko po, yung kung matapos yung mga airports, no, yung capacity, no, on the basis of what is planned, no, 65 for NAIA, 100 for Bulacan, and then 12 for Clark, and then another 70 for Sangli, assuming matapos yung Sangli. All in all, it's over 200 million. Pero hindi ko sinabing yun po yung magiging demand. Ang sinabi ko po, yun ang capacity.
Ano po magiging demand?
I don't have the numbers, but there is a projected demand done by the
Ano
consultants.
nga ho yun?
Hindi, I'm not familiar with the numbers, but we
Di
can
ba
give you
dapat importante malaman muna natin yung demand?
yeah, we can give you the detailed demand forecast for the Greater Capital Region traffic.
Because from what I can see right now, their strategy is proponent-driven. No, ibig sabihin kung ano pong pinapropose ng mga proponents, yun po yung nasusunod. Pero hindi ho natin nakikita kung ano bang mabuti para sa pasahero ho natin. No, dahil, of course, the proponents will propose something that will maximize their profits, but what about our passengers? Meron ba ho tayong isang airport, a unified airport strategy, itemizing all of these 4 airports? Meron ba ho tayong roadmap of some sort?
Meron hong ginawa nung as mentioned by Secretary Dominguez earlier, may ginawa ho yung consultants funded by the Japanese in 2011. Nakalagay ho doon yung
4 na airport.
In-identify ho yung mga airports na yan, at tapos nakalagay doon ho yung traffic projections. We can give you the traffic forecast.
Ma'am, on a later date, we would like to request the OTR USEC to present to us ano ba talaga ang strategy natin. My point here is, ano bang strategy ng gobyerno? No? This is a strategy of the proponent, pero ano bang strategy ng gobyerno? Take into consideration kung anong mabuti sa ating pasahero. Were the airlines consulted in this 4 airport strategy?
Not at this time, Mr. Chair.
So, the thing is, sa mga airlines, alam ko, ang gusto ho nila, mas maraming flight sa isang airport eh. Parang the choice, nasa pasahero kung anong oras ang pipiliin niya.
Po yun. Ganon din po yung polisiya ng DOTR na bigyan ng
But
freedom
without
of choice
consulting the airport, the airlines, paano ho magiging epektibo ho yan dito sa 4 airport strategy? Meron ka ng 4 na airport, so kung 4 ang flight ng PAL, di tigi-isang flight sila sa tigi-isang airport. Ganun mangyayari.
Pwede ho bang sabihin ko ulit yung aviation roadmap namin? If you view the airport, dun lang sa capacity ngayon, you have to view that in relation also to the provincial and regional airports which you will improve and which you will build. Kaya nga po yung aviation roadmap consists of various phases. Number one, sa first phase is to improve and enhance existing primary gateways. Ano po ito? Yung NAIA Terminal 1, 2, 3, and 4, kasama na ho dyan yung Clark. Kaakibat nitong phase 1, paghahanap mo ng ibang bagong airport, nandiyan dyan ho yung Sangli, nandiyan dyan ho yung Bulacan. Ito ho yung phase 1. Yung phase 2 is, kailangan i-develop mo rin yung regional sa mga provincial airports. Kaya nga ho, nagkaroon kami ng matinding programa para sa tinatawag na night-rated capacity. Ngayon ho, madami ho tayong airport, commercial at that, na hindi na ho pwedeng lumipad sa NAIA Terminal 1, 2, 3, and 4 pagdating ng sunset. Ang ginagawa ho ng tinatawag na night-rated capacity is pwede pa hong maglakbay sa Himpapawid after sunset. So meron ka hong ilang airport ho yun? 44. Lalagyan ho natin ng night-rated capacity yan. Noon hong pumasok kami, kung mararapatin po, meron mga 13 or 14 night rated. Ngayon ho, meron ho mga mahigit 20. Ang plano ho dyan, lahat ho yung 44 commercially operational airports maging night rated lahat. Mahirap ho yung gawin night rated kasi hindi lang ho namang magsimento ka, lagyan mo ng ilaw. Yung night rated capacity ho, improvein mo yung runway, yung length, yung width. Meron pang ibang lugar dyan, lalagyan mo ng tore. Kaya, by the end of President Duterte's term, it is our hope na ang target na night-rated. Ngayon, pag nagawa mo yung improvement at construction ng mga airport, kailangan kakibat ho nito yung safety, comfort, predictability, and punctuality. Nandiyan dyan ho ngayon yung communication, navigation, surveillance, at air traffic management na kung saan halos tapos na ho na tinapos namin ngayong taon na to. Ngayon ho, ang operation ng CNS ATM nasa shadowing. Ibig sabihin, parallel operation ho yan, Madam Chair. Yung dating manual, saka ngayon, ginagamit yan. Ang habol ho namin cut over yan by end of October. Ibig kong sabihin, yung mismong tinayo namin na communication, navigation, surveillance, air traffic management system, by end of October, solo na ho yun, wala na yung manual. This is the entire generic platform upon which the aviation roadmap of the Department of Transportation stands.
Madam Chair, I would like to request from the good secretary a presentation of that aviation roadmap as well as yung Greater Manila airport strategy natin. I think that is the heart of the concern right now. Kasi just by looking at the numbers, I don't think itong 4 na airport will survive, with the number of passengers we have right now. Even though you add the projections, I don't think we will have 257 million passengers traversing in Metro Manila. I don't know how it will work. The consequence of that is the viability of those airports, because 2 of those airports will be, or 3 will be privately built. So on a later date, ma'am, we can ask the department to explain and to enlighten us, on this strategy.
We will comply, sir.
Yeah.
But suffice it at this moment to say na yung mga negosyante, yung mga proponent ho, did their own studies. Na kung saan, sabi natin, no government guarantee, no subsidy in any form or shade, no poaching of accounts from existing airports. The government will maintain monitoring, quality of service, and tariff and rates, yung plete, kasi may social impact yan. Alam ho lahat nila yan. So, in their own proposals, they are aware of this aviation roadmap. So they did their own pencil pushing na itutuloy nila yung proyekto at hindi. Suffice it to say, ang request of the Honorable Senator Gatchalian, we will do a submission, sir.
Madam Chair, since meron tayong isang proponent dito from the consortium, after hearing all of these proposals, yung 4 na airport, 257 million additional capacity in the next 7 to 8 years tutuloy niyo pa ba itong project? Do you think it will still be viable for your consortium to pursue? I understand that's how much po yung project po ninyo?
102 billion pesos. Your
102.
Honor.
Do you think it will still be viable?
Absolutely, Your Honor. I think our solution is really meant to be a short to medium term solution that our citizens need earliest possible time. It is really up to the DOTR to decide what will happen to NAIA after the 15-year concession.
Since you might be awarded that rehabilitation of NAIA, what do you plan to do in terms of terminal fees? Will you increase it, and by how much?
Ma'am, that is still under negotiation, and we recognize the discretion of the DOTR to regulate those rates. So I'm sure that it will be fair for all concerned.
Sa Cebu po ba, malaki ba ang tinaas ng terminal fee doon?
Ano po?
Sa Cebu Airport.
Sa Cebu Airport, ho?
Ang alam ko kasi, nung dati kaming nag-usap dito, hindi naman nila masyadong tinaas ang terminal fee. At par rin dito sa Metro Manila di ba?
You want to answer that?
Magkano ba yung terminal fee ngayon sa Cebu?
Hindi namang tumaas, Cebu. Mas mataas yung Cebu, di ba?
By how
Mas
much?
mataas yung Cebu. Kaya nga po, meron nga sa kondisyones na linalagay namin ngayon. Sa original proponent status, as you grant the original proponent status, three things stays with the government. Ano yon? The monitoring of quality service. Pangalawa, yung taripa and rate. Na wala ho sa agreement nun, parang naging pre-willing na ho yata noon yun. Pangatlo ho, yung tinatawag na security concerns. Kasi nga, alam natin ho naman ngayon, matindi yung terrorism, saka yung kwan. Kailangan yung terrorism, yung standards of quality, saka yung rate and taripa, mesay pa rin yung gobyerno.
Okay. Basta yun lang ang ating babantayan. Alam ko, for this consortium, if I may speak freely, I know it's also for the interest of the investors there because some members of that consortium actually have airlines. So you want the airports to run efficiently. And that in itself is a return on your investment if it's run efficiently. But we need to be able to ensure also that terminal fees won't skyrocket because of that. It's just a reminder. I'm sure Secretary Tugade, that's what you intend to safeguard also. Another thing is, I would like to hear from the Management Association of the Philippines in terms of your sector, sir. What do you think is the most practical and
Madam Chair, thank you. We have been closely monitoring the situation in the aviation sector, and we have consulted aviation experts, local and foreign. Now, we take a holistic view to this problem, and we believe that a aviation system approach with complementation of existing government airports will be the ideal approach. In fact, we support the complementation strategy of the Department of Transportation. Now, we do not look at NAIA in isolation of current developments. So we consider all of these, Madam Chair, and the developments mentioned by Secretary Tugade were factored into our study and our conclusion. Now, we believe that the fastest, most effective solution to the current air traffic congestion is the upgrade of NAIA. Now, beyond NAIA, complemented by Clark and Subic, beyond these three airports, we are aware that there are ongoing proposals and conditions being imposed by government. And apparently, these are to protect government interests and at the same time, government-owned airports, no? Now, the private sector is quite sensitive to the fiscal health of the government, and we can understand where Secretary Dominguez is coming from, especially now, with the situation in the emerging markets, we have seen the currencies of certain emerging economies collapsing, particularly Indonesia, rupiah is at a historic low, that of Turkey, India as well. So we support a prudent approach to large capital projects. Now, on the question of demand and capacity, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian asked a question, and I suggest that, Madam Chair, you refer to the study, to the report of JICA, dated 2014, particularly Table 2.1, page 3. And according to the study of JICA, the demand projection for NAIA for international passengers is 5.2%. For domestic passenger, it is 5.2% as well. Now, for Clark, it is higher. It's 8.8%.
Per year increase?
From 2012 up to 2020.
So you're saying, kasi I initially mentioned 6% growth per year, and I was told that it was about 3% or 4%. So you're saying JICA says it's actually until 8%.
For NAIA, it's 5.2% for both international and domestic. But for Clark, it's much higher. It is 8.8% for international and 10% for domestic. What we use in our study is 6%, which is reflected in my article of today.
That's what yeah. If you can give me a copy again of the JICA study, 2014. Do you have a copy of that, sir? Actually, the government should have a copy of that.
It's in the NEDA website.
Oh, okay.
We will submit, Your Honor.
Okay. Before we wrap up on this particular hearing, I would like to ask GM Monreal, I know, sir, ang dami mo pang inaasikaso, pero kailangan natin paghandaan. Ang dinig ko, baka magkaroon tayo ng Super Typhoon Neneng, no? This Wednesday. So, ang ibig sabihin nun, ito ay magiging from 250 to 306 kilometers per hour of maximum winds. So, paghandaan natin, ano pong iniisip? Alam ba ninyo yon?
Madam Chair, if it's regarding typhoon, it's actually easier to manage in the sense that we can predict, we know it's happening. Ginawa na ho namin yan sometime almost more than a year ago. Nung nagkaroon ho tayo ng isang typhoon na tama, direct kitang Manila. Prior to that, dumating ho yung bagyo. Nagsarado na ho tayo ng paliparan in coordination with the airlines.
Okay,
so nakapaplano sila.
This time, your crisis management team, kahit na hindi naman sa retrieval, but for contingencies, if this happens, please convene as soon as possible to discuss. Ayaw natin na may malulungkot at magre-reklamong walang makain sa airport dahil hindi na-cancela yung mga flights kaagad-agad. Pero kung sakasakali, Mr. Gia Monreal, alam ko naman marami na tayo natutunan sa mga nakaraan, no? Pero yung pera po ng airport, gamitin po natin para sa mga pasahero.
Tama ho yun. Actually, mayroon ho kaming meeting mamayang hapon as regards to the preparatory to this typhoon. Nagpatago ang ating sekretaryo na gagawin ho ngayon pagkatapos ho nitong meeting para pag-usapan ho kung paano gagawin ito.
So with that, it's 1:03. We need to wrap up this meeting. Today's hearing provided the committee with the remaining details needed to craft a comprehensive report. First, we learned that CAAP's investigation on the Xiamen incident is still ongoing. Maybe if it takes more time, I might ask for an executive session eventually, but for now, we will let it go through its proper course. Second, we were informed of the existence of a disabled aircraft removal plan, which sets the protocols for such incidents. Specifically, the primary responsibility to remove disabled aircraft lies with the airline operator. Finally, and most important, we heard the testimony of affected passengers. On the third point, nakakabahala ang mga narinig natin. Kulang sa pagkain at upuan, mahina ang sound system, hindi malaman kung kailan matutuloy ang kanilang flight. Pati sa pag-book ng accommodation, nahihirapan. At mismong mainit na tubig para sa kape at cup noodles ay pinagkakakitaan ng 10 piso. Dapat yung mga concessionaires dyan sa airport, pagsabihan rin not to take advantage of a situation. I would also like to ask, we need to review our contingency plans for such situations. I would like to ask the cab board to please assist passengers who have any concerns. You said that you're already going to help Ms. Rosario and the others also who are experiencing situations like that. The crisis management teams need to be meeting to establish greater coordination between airlines and MIA, not on a voluntary basis, but mandatory. Sir, pwede mo silang sabihan. These hearings were not meant to disparage the efforts of our airport and airline staff. Kasi dealing with irate, hungry, and tired passengers is not an easy task. At marami, alam ko na sa inyo talaga did their best also given the situation. And we're learning from this. Even the general manager, you were basically crucified, I mean, when everybody was talking about this. But we see the effort moving forward now, and I hope that we will prevent this from happening again. I mean, we get not really a free pass, but I think that we should be a little bit more considerate because this is the first time it has happened this way. These lessons will be enshrined in our committee report for the reference of future generations. Finally, without preempting the findings of our committee report, we seek the following outcomes from those who participated in our proceedings. Number 1, CAAP should immediately complete its investigation and issue recommendations. Second, Xiamen Airlines should fully and unconditionally cooperate with the government, especially with regard to the payment of all damages. As I mentioned, CAB tulungan ang mga pasahero. Airline, pag may delay, what will you do? Please submit to us again what your plans would be moving forward and also in terms of feeding the passengers that are waiting para hindi masayang din yung pagkain, mga bagay na ganon. On the new airport, I would like to thank Secretary Dominguez for also joining us today. Said that he mentioned and he clarified that the DOF is not the case of delay of the Bulacan Airport or any other projects. There are considerations which we appreciate, implications to the economy and the state as a whole, the burden to the Filipino public or the advantage, the effect to roads and transportation, financial viability of the corporation. The committee will also assess the issues fully to help the country and our countrymen. I would like to ask from Yusek Reynoso the deadlines that you mentioned, all of them, from the Bulacan Airport, the consortium, etc. And the roadmap also from the DOTR and a copy of the JICA study. Again, I'm sure we have it, but better to have that. The consortium, please submit to us your promises, what your plans to improve passenger safety and also convenience. The CAB, please give us the matrix for the fuel surcharge. So with that, again, maraming salamat po sa inyong pagdalo.
Ma'am, isang information lang. We are inaugurating this afternoon the rapid exit taxiway at runway 0624. Ito ho, makakatulong to decongest yung movement sa airport sa runway 0624. Ginawa ho natin ito for 13 months.
Congratulations,
Matagal
sir.
na hong pending. Ito, magandang nota na malaman ngayon. If you are free, come join us. There will be a simple ceremony. Dapat to, ano namin last month, kaya lang napagsabihan kami ng mga pungsoy-pungsoy, huwag mag-inaugurate dahil ghost month.
Tama.
Lalo na ho, pagpaliparan daw. Naniwala naman ho, kaya mamayang hapon ho, 4:30, operational na ho yun.
Well, congratulations, sir, kasi pinag-uusapan lang na parang kailan lang na nag-hearing tayo dito sa rapid exit.
Opo,
taxiway.
natapos po yan ma'am, 1 year and 1 month.
Congratulations. So let's prepare for the supposed typhoon that will come in on Wednesday. GM Monreal, sorry, na-stress tayong lahat dito, but I think we learned our lesson naman. So our committee report will be very fair. It is more constructive than anything else. So thank you so much for your presence today. This hearing is adjourned. Thank you, Senator Gatchalian, also for your presence.
Our resource persons for this morning. Very brief opening speech because this bill, one slide lang po. This is actually taken from the presentation of NEA. And this slide is actually quite telling, no, in terms of the importance of this bill. Schedule. And to make it simple, one of the reasons for the scheduled and unscheduled ay yung growth of the vegetation and also the maintenance of the wires in Palawan. Nagkaroon ho kami ng hearing ng May and we told Paleco that kung ano pong magagawa nyo within your powers, gawin na. No? And if you look at the 2018 of June, bumaba po yung blue and red. Precisely because they had undertook a
it takes 2 generations para magbago ang kultura ng bansa. Eh yan nga, ilang
our resource persons for this morning. Our resource persons for this